What if the biggest challenge in your life isn't proving yourself to others, but proving yourself to yourself? Think about it. How often do you hold back, doubt your potential, or let fear stop you from going after what you really want? It's easy to compare yourself to others, to seek validation, or to feel like you're not enough. But the real battle isn't out there, it's inside you. This isn't about seeking approval. It's about pushing yourself to grow, to improve, to become stronger, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's about setting your own standards and rising to meet them. The only competition that truly matters is the one between who you are today and who you could be. So are you ready to challenge yourself? To step up, take control, and become the best version of yourself? Because in the end, the only person you need to impress is you. Chapter 1. Start your day with a structured morning routine. The world is quiet. The distractions haven't arrived yet. No one needs you. No one is asking anything from you. It's just you and the opportunity to set the tone for everything that follows. The way you begin your day speaks volumes about who you're becoming. When you start it with purpose and structure, you're not just going through motions, you're declaring to yourself that your life matters, your time matters, and how you show up matters. That's the foundation of self-respect. That's how you begin to prove yourself to yourself. Most people start their mornings by reacting. They open their eyes and immediately hand their attention to the outside world. The phone becomes the first thing they touch. The news, social media, emails, it all floods in before they've even had a chance to remember who they are. It's like waking up and surrendering your power before you've even gotten out of bed. But you don't have to live like that. You can choose a different way. You can build a morning routine that gives you space, clarity, and strength before the world starts knocking. Waking up with intention is a personal revolution. It's a quiet rebellion against chaos. It's not about being perfect or having an aesthetic routine that looks good in pictures. It's about having a system that helps you align with your values, center your mind, strengthen your body, and prepare yourself to face whatever the day brings. Every part of a structured morning routine is a tool, a way to take ownership of your life and operate from a place of grounded clarity instead of scattered reaction. It all starts with how you choose to rise. There's power in the moment your eyes open. Most people don't realize it, but that's a moment of decision. You either get up or you retreat. You either move with purpose or delay for comfort. That's where the first small win of the day happens. And here's the truth. Small wins are not small. They build confidence. They create momentum. They remind you that you are not at the mercy of your moods or excuses. When you start your day by following through on what you said you'd do, something as simple as getting up on time, you're showing yourself that your word has weight. But getting up is just the beginning. What you do with that first hour determines the state of mind you bring into everything else. If you spend it in anxiety or rush, that energy stays with you. If you spend it in peace, discipline, and presence, you carry that with you instead. This is why structure matters. Structure isn't restriction, it's freedom. Freedom from the noise, freedom from indecision, freedom from the pull of distraction. With structure, you don't have to think about what to do next. You just show up and do it. And that reliability, that consistency, becomes a foundation you can build on. A morning routine isn't about cramming productivity into every second. It's about having a rhythm that aligns with your highest values. It's about creating a flow that helps you check in with yourself before the world checks in with you. That might look different for everyone, but the principles remain. Move your body, clear your mind, Direct your thoughts and prepare your heart. Not with pressure, with presence. Because when you slow down and make space for yourself, you remember what matters. Most people think of discipline as force, but true discipline is rooted in respect. It's choosing what's best for you, even when it's not easy. Especially when it's not easy. And your morning is the perfect training ground. It's where you show yourself that you can do hard things, that you don't have to negotiate with your excuses, and that you can create your own stability, even when life feels unpredictable. That's what self-trust is built on. Doing what you say you'll do, not just once, but every day, especially when no one is watching, especially when there's no reward, because the reward is becoming someone you're proud of. A powerful morning doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, simplicity is your ally. A consistent wake-up time, a few minutes of silence, a short physical practice, a brief reflection, and a clear intention for the day, that's enough. It's not about how much you do. It's about how you do it. With attention, with commitment, with a desire to be in integrity with yourself. Because this is what proving yourself to yourself really means. Not performing for others, but living in alignment with your own values, even in the smallest moments. When you give yourself this kind of start, you begin to notice something interesting. You handle challenges better. You respond more thoughtfully. You stay more focused. You make better decisions. And most importantly, you begin to feel more in charge. Not in control of everything. That's impossible. But in charge of you. Your attitude. Your effort. Your energy. That's the kind of power that lasts. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. This shift doesn't happen overnight. You'll have mornings where you don't want to get up. You'll feel resistance. That's normal. That's human. But the goal isn't to never feel resistance. The goal is to act anyway. Because every time you follow through, you're carving out a new identity. One that says, I show up. I don't run from discomfort. I lead myself. That's not just a routine. That's a revolution of character. People often ask, but what if I miss a day? You will. Everyone does. That's not failure. That's feedback. The real question is, what do you do the next day? Do you spiral into guilt? Or do you come back with grace? Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up with determination and self-respect. That's part of proving yourself to yourself too. Learning to keep going when things don't go perfectly. Eventually your morning routine becomes more than a practice. It becomes a sacred promise to yourself. A way of saying, I matter enough to take care of me first. And that mindset ripples out into everything. You stop settling. You stop making excuses. You stop outsourcing your worth. Because you've already shown yourself, day after day, that you can be trusted to rise, to lead, to take responsibility for your life. And you start to notice something else too. How different your energy feels compared to others. While the world scrambles and reacts, you move with calm focus. You're not just responding to life. You're directing it. That doesn't mean chaos won't come. It will. But you'll be more rooted. You'll be the calm in the storm. You'll have the habits that hold you steady. This is not just about productivity or performance. This is about identity. Who you become when no one is watching. Who you are when things are quiet. Who you're training yourself to be when you rise each morning with discipline instead of delay, with structure instead of stress, with purpose instead of panic. There's dignity in that. There's power in that. And there's deep, unshakable confidence that grows when you stop outsourcing your life to chance and start taking ownership, one morning at a time. Imagine what would happen if you committed to just one consistent hour each morning. 1 hour that belongs to you. That isn't stolen by your phone, your inbox, your obligations. 1 hour where you center yourself, breathe, move, and align. Do you think that hour would make your life worse? Or do you think it would change everything? This isn't theoretical. This is real. People change their lives all the time by starting here, by starting small, by starting again, by saying, today I'll begin differently. And when you do that enough times, you wake up one day and realize you've become the kind of person you used to admire. Not because of talent, not because of luck, but because you kept showing up. No one sees the discipline in your bedroom when it's still dark outside. No one cheers when you choose to meditate instead of scroll. No one applauds when you write your goals in silence. But that's where greatness begins. Not in applause, but in the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. That's what this chapter is really about. Taking responsibility for your energy. Choosing to lead yourself before the world has a chance to influence you. Training your mind to be present. Strengthening your body to carry your life. Honoring your goals by preparing for them every single day. It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it works. Over time, this small daily act of devotion to your own growth becomes a foundation. You become more focused, more grounded, more confident. You begin to trust yourself again, not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. You begin to see yourself not as someone who reacts to life, but someone who creates it. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a simple commitment. Get up, show up, follow through. That's how confidence is built. That's how self-respect is earned. That's how real change begins. The day doesn't owe you anything, but if you treat the morning with respect, the rest of the day tends to follow. You'll feel stronger, clearer, more capable, and slowly, day by day, you'll begin to prove something profound, not to the world but to the person who matters most, you. So set your alarm with purpose. Stand up when it rings. Walk into the morning with your shoulders back and your eyes open. You've got a life to lead, a mind to train, and a standard to uphold. It all starts with how you rise. Let the world keep sleeping. You've got work to do, starting with you. Chapter 2. Set clear and achievable personal goals daily. Every day is a chance to become someone better than you were the day before, but it won't just happen by accident. It takes clarity, commitment, and a willingness to live with intention. The truth is, most people drift through their days. They go with the flow, react to what comes at them, and end up wondering where all their time went. They feel busy but not productive, tired but not fulfilled. That's what happens when you don't direct your time with purpose. The moment you decide to set clear and achievable personal goals every single day, you take back control of your life in the most powerful way possible. Setting daily goals isn't about being overly strict or robotic. It's not about perfection, and it's not about achieving big dreams overnight. It's about living deliberately, choosing what matters most, and doing what you can with the time you've got. When you wake up and decide what you want to accomplish that day, realistically, clearly, and intentionally, you immediately raise the standard for how you move through the next 24 hours. You're not waiting to feel inspired. You're not hoping to be productive. You're deciding to be focused and effective because you know your time is valuable. Personal goals don't have to be massive to be meaningful. In fact, the smaller and more specific they are, the more likely they are to get done. And once you start knocking out those small wins day after day, something changes inside you. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants to improve and start becoming someone who does improve. That shift builds confidence. That shift builds momentum, and that momentum is what takes you from wishing for progress to living it. But for that to happen, your goals need to be more than vague ideas. A goal like be productive sounds nice, but it doesn't tell you what to do. A goal like write for 30 minutes before breakfast gives you direction. The more specific your goals are, the easier it is to take action. You don't have to wonder where to start or how to use your time. You just follow through. You do what you said you would do. That kind of discipline builds trust with yourself, and that trust is the foundation of every transformation worth having. There's something powerful about writing your goals down in the morning. It's like planting a flag in the ground and declaring to yourself, "This is what I'm showing up for today." It doesn't have to be fancy or take a long time, just a few lines in a notebook or on your phone. What matters is that you get it out of your head and into a form you can see and commit to. That single act creates clarity, and clarity creates action. When you set personal goals daily, you also become better at knowing what's realistic. You start to understand your limits, your patterns and your distractions. That kind of self-awareness is gold. It helps you stop overcommitting. It teaches you to focus on what really matters. You stop measuring success by how busy you feel and start measuring it by what you actually complete. That shift makes you more efficient, but more than that, it makes you more honest with yourself. You stop pretending you'll get to everything later and start owning the truth of how you use your time. Some people avoid setting goals because they're afraid of failing. They don't want to write something down and then not do it. But avoiding goals doesn't protect you from failure. It just guarantees that your time is scattered. On the other hand, setting a goal and missing it still teaches you something. You learn what gets in your way. You see where your excuses show up. You understand what needs to be adjusted. Every missed goal is feedback, not a reason to give up. And when you hit your goals, even the small ones, you get a burst of energy. You prove to yourself that you're capable, that your actions matter, that you can show up for yourself, not just for other people's deadlines and expectations. That feeling is addictive in the best way. It drives you to keep going. It reinforces the identity of someone who takes ownership of their life, one day at a time. It's important to make your goals achievable. That doesn't mean they should be easy or effortless. It means they should be doable within the constraints of your current life. A goal that's too big for one day doesn't motivate you, it overwhelms you. But when you break it down into something manageable, it becomes possible. And when something feels possible, you're far more likely to do it. Instead of saying, "I'll write a whole chapter today," you say, "I'll write 500 words before noon." Instead of saying, "I'll completely organize my house," you say, "I'll clean out the top drawer in my desk." You chip away at the mountain instead of standing at the bottom feeling defeated. That's how progress is made. One honest step at a time. You don't need dozens of goals every day. In fact, less is often better. A few well-chosen objectives can do more for your growth than a long list you never finish. Focus on what's essential. Ask yourself, if I only get 3 things done today, which 3 will move me forward the most? Then commit to those. Anything else you accomplish is a bonus. But even if you only finish those top 3, you'll still end the day feeling accomplished and proud. What makes this process so powerful is that it helps you stay connected to your values. You're not just doing tasks to feel productive, you're doing things that matter to you. Whether it's your health, your creativity, your relationships, or your work, your daily goals should reflect who you want to be and what kind of life you want to live. They don't need to impress anyone, they need to mean something to you. That's how you stay motivated, not through willpower, but through purpose. You won't always feel motivated. That's normal. You're human. Some mornings you'll be tired, distracted, or discouraged. That's exactly why daily goal setting matters. It gives you direction when your emotions are off. It anchors you when your mind is scattered. It reminds you of who you are and what you said you'd do. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes a habit, not just something you do, but something that's part of you. You'll start to see patterns over time. You'll notice which kinds of goals light you up and which ones drain you. You'll understand what time of day you work best. You'll realize which routines support your success and which ones sabotage it. That kind of self-knowledge isn't just helpful, it's transformational. Because once you know how you operate best, you can structure your life to support that. You stop fighting against yourself and start working with yourself. Some days your goals will be about action. Other days they'll be about rest, recovery, or connection. It's not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about doing the right thing at the right time. Listening to your body, checking in with your emotions, being honest about what you need. A well-balanced life includes both effort and ease. The key is being intentional about both. Daily personal goals also help you build resilience. When life gets hard, and it will, you'll have something to hold on to. Your goals become a stabilizer, a source of structure when everything else feels chaotic. You won't always have control over your circumstances, but you will always have control over your intentions. And that's a kind of freedom that can't be taken from you. Over time, you'll realize that these daily goals are more than tasks. They're commitments. They're promises you make to yourself and keep. And each time you follow through, you reinforce your identity as someone who can be counted on. That matters, because the relationship you have with yourself is the foundation for every other part of your life. If you don't trust yourself to follow through, nothing else works. But if you do, everything else gets stronger. This isn't about becoming obsessed with productivity. It's not about measuring your worth by how much you get done. It's about living your life on purpose, showing up with clarity, directing your time with intention, and choosing every day to do the things that make you proud, not because someone else is watching, but because you are. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need fancy tools or apps. You just need a few minutes each morning, a pen, and the courage to ask yourself, what matters most to me today? Then you write it down. You commit. You act. That's it. Simple, but powerful. You might not see massive results right away. That's okay. That's not the point. The point is to build a system that helps you stay connected to what matters. The point is to train yourself to live with focus. The point is to prove to yourself over and over that you are capable of designing your day and your life with intention. When you do this consistently, things change. You stop drifting. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop letting fear or distraction lead the way. You start making progress that feels real. You start living in a way that feels honest. You start becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for permission, who doesn't wait for the perfect moment, who simply decides to move forward, one day, one goal, one step at a time. That's how you prove yourself to yourself. Not by doing something once, but by doing it daily, quietly, consistently, with grit, with heart, with intention. That's how you build a life you're proud of. That's how you become someone you respect. That's how you change, by setting goals that matter and showing up to meet them every single day. Chapter 3. Practice mindfulness to stay present and focused. In the whirlwind of modern life, it's all too easy to find ourselves caught up in a relentless stream of thoughts, worries, and distractions. Our minds often oscillate between ruminating on past events and anticipating future scenarios, leaving little room for truly experiencing the present moment. This habitual pattern can lead to feelings of stress, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection from ourselves and the world around us. However, there exists a powerful antidote to this pervasive state of mind: the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of paying deliberate attention to our present experiences with openness, curiosity, and without judgment. It's about fully engaging with whatever we're doing, feeling, or thinking right now, rather than being lost in regrets about the past or fears about the future. This practice, rooted in ancient contemplative traditions, has gained significant recognition in contemporary psychology and wellness circles for its profound impact on mental and physical well-being. The beauty of mindfulness lies in its simplicity and accessibility. It doesn't require any special equipment or a significant time commitment. Instead, it invites us to bring a quality of presence to our everyday activities, transforming ordinary moments into opportunities for awareness and connection. Whether it's savoring the taste of our morning coffee, feeling the sensation of water on our skin during a shower, or truly listening to a friend during a conversation, mindfulness allows us to experience life more vividly and authentically. One of the foundational practices of mindfulness is mindful breathing. Our breath serves as a constant anchor to the present moment, always available to us. By directing our attention to the natural rhythm of our inhalations and exhalations, we create a space where the mind can settle and become more focused. This simple act of observing the breath can have a calming effect on the nervous system, reducing stress and enhancing our ability to concentrate. Even taking a few conscious breaths during a hectic day can serve as a reset button, bringing us back to a state of equilibrium. Incorporating mindfulness into daily life can also involve engaging our senses more fully. For instance, when eating, we can take the time to notice the colors, textures, and flavors of our food, appreciating the nourishment it provides. This practice, known as mindful eating, not only enhances our enjoyment of meals but also promotes healthier eating habits and digestion. Similarly, during routine activities like walking, we can pay attention to the sensation of our feet touching the ground, the movement of our muscles, and the sights and sounds around us. This kind of mindful walking transforms a mundane activity into a rich, grounding experience. Another effective way to cultivate mindfulness is through body scan exercises. This practice involves directing attention systematically through different parts of the body, observing any sensations that arise without trying to change them. It's a way of tuning into the body's signals, fostering a deeper connection between mind and body. Regular body scans can increase bodily awareness, help in identifying areas of tension, and promote relaxation. Mindfulness also extends to our interactions with others. Practicing mindful listening means giving our full attention to the person speaking, without interrupting or planning our response while they're talking. This not only improves the quality of our relationships, but also allows us to respond more thoughtfully and empathetically. In a world where distractions are rampant, offering someone our undivided attention is a profound gift. The benefits of mindfulness are well documented and far-reaching. Regular practice has been shown to reduce stress, enhance emotional regulation, improve focus and concentration, and even boost immune function. By training ourselves to be more present, we become less reactive to external stressors and more resilient in the face of challenges. Our minds become clearer, allowing us to make decisions with greater clarity and wisdom. Moreover, mindfulness fosters a greater appreciation for life. When we're truly present, we become more attuned to the beauty and richness of our experiences. The simple pleasures, a child's laughter, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the aroma of freshly baked bread, become more vivid and fulfilling. This heightened awareness can lead to increased gratitude and overall life satisfaction. It's important to acknowledge that cultivating mindfulness is a gradual process. Our minds have been conditioned over years to wander, and bringing them back to the present moment requires patience and gentle persistence. There will be times when practicing mindfulness feels effortless, and other times when it feels challenging. The key is to approach the practice with kindness toward oneself, recognizing that each moment of awareness, no matter how fleeting, is a step toward greater presence. For those new to mindfulness, starting with short, regular sessions can be more effective than occasional longer ones. Even dedicating 5 minutes a day to mindful breathing or another simple practice can yield noticeable benefits over time. As the practice becomes more integrated into daily life, it can be extended and adapted to various activities and situations. Incorporating mindfulness into our lives doesn't mean we won't encounter stress or difficulties. However, it equips us with tools to navigate these challenges more skillfully. By staying present and focused, we're better able to respond to situations rather than react impulsively. We develop a greater sense of calm and clarity, enabling us to handle life's ups and downs with more grace and resilience. In essence, mindfulness is about reclaiming our lives from the autopilot mode that so many of us operate in. It's about waking up to the fullness of each moment and experiencing life directly, rather than through the fog of habitual thoughts and distractions. By practicing mindfulness, we open ourselves to a richer, more meaningful existence, grounded in the here and now. Chapter 4. Engage in physical exercise for overall health. If there's one thing that holds the power to completely shift how you feel, think, act, and even see the world, it's movement. Physical exercise is not just about muscles, weights, or calories. It's about showing up for yourself. It's about proving to your mind that your body matters, and to your body that your mind is fully present. Every drop of sweat, every elevated heartbeat, every stretch beyond what felt possible yesterday becomes a declaration, I'm here for me. You don't need to be an athlete, a fitness guru, or someone with a gym membership to benefit from daily movement. In fact, the simplest acts of motion, like walking up the stairs, stretching in your room, doing a few squats, or taking a brisk walk in the evening, can start to build momentum that changes your entire internal world. What matters more than how intense or flashy your workout looks is that you're consistent with it. You commit to moving your body because you know it makes your life better in more ways than most people realize. Our bodies were made to move. That's how we're built. The joints, the muscles, the skeletal structure, they're designed to bend, push, lift, twist, stretch, and run. When we deny the body the chance to do what it was made for, we begin to feel stuck, both physically and mentally. Over time, stiffness sets in, not just in our limbs but in our thoughts and our energy. We lose that sense of momentum that keeps life dynamic. But when you make movement a daily priority, your entire being shifts into a different gear. You stop dragging yourself through the day and start flowing through it with purpose. Exercise is not just about looking good or hitting a number on a scale. Those might be bonuses, sure, but they're never the core. The real value lies in the way it upgrades every other part of your life. It builds mental resilience. It gives you more energy to show up for your work, your relationships, and your goals. It sharpens your focus. It reduces anxiety. It helps you sleep better. It boosts your confidence, not because your body is changing, but because you're keeping promises to yourself, and that sense of self-trust starts to grow. A lot of people feel overwhelmed by the idea of working out regularly. They think they need a perfect routine, a specific time slot, or special equipment. But all you really need is the willingness to begin. Start where you are with what you have. If you can walk, start walking. If you can stretch, start stretching. If you have a floor and some space, you already have everything you need. Let go of the idea that movement has to look a certain way to count. What matters is that you're doing it. That you're honoring your health, not once in a while but daily. Discipline grows stronger each time you show up, especially when you don't feel like it. That morning, when you wake up tired but still go for that walk, that's when it matters most. That afternoon, when your schedule is packed, but you carve out 10 minutes to move, that's where the shift happens. These small acts accumulate. Over time, they shape a new identity. You become someone who moves through life with energy, purpose, and self-respect. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on commitment. Let's talk about the mental benefits, because they're often underestimated. Physical movement releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that lift your mood and lower stress. After a workout, things that once felt heavy start to feel manageable. Problems shrink. Perspective expands. You're more centered, more grounded. The fog in your head clears up. You don't need to rely on coffee or distractions or scrolling through your phone to feel better. Your body becomes your own pharmacy, your own therapy. And then there's the long game: health, longevity, strength. Regular movement protects your heart. It regulates your blood pressure. It strengthens your bones. It supports your immune system. It even improves memory and brain function. You don't just live longer, you live better. Your body works with you instead of against you. You have fewer aches and pains. You stay independent, strong, capable. As you age, the investments you make in your health today compound into years of vitality. That's the kind of wealth no money can buy. But beyond the science, here's the emotional truth. When you move your body, you reconnect with your power. You remind yourself that you're not a victim of your circumstances. You don't just sit and wait for life to improve. You go out and participate in your own becoming. Every time you finish a workout, even a short one, you leave with more strength than you had before, not just in your muscles, but in your mindset. That matters. That's growth. If you ever doubt whether it's worth it, think of the feeling after you move. The sense of clarity, the lightness in your step, the confidence in your chest, the shift in your energy. That's not a coincidence. That's your body thanking you. That's your mind resetting. That's your soul realigning with something deeper. Every movement is a reminder that you're alive, and more than that, that you're capable of shaping your life. What you do with your body shows up in everything else. You walk into rooms differently when you feel strong. You speak with more confidence. You recover from setbacks faster. You set higher standards for yourself because you've already proven you can show up for your health. Now you're ready to show up everywhere else. Exercise becomes a foundation. Not the only thing, but a crucial piece in the bigger picture of becoming someone who doesn't wait around for life to improve, but goes out and earns it every single day. There's something beautiful in sweating with intention, in pushing your limits gently but consistently, in knowing you're doing something hard and doing it anyway. That process reshapes more than your body. It reshapes your self-image. And when you see yourself as someone who is strong, reliable and disciplined, you start to make better choices in other areas of your life. That identity carries into your work, your habits, your relationships. It's all connected. Movement is medicine, yes, but it's also a message you send to yourself that you matter, that your health matters, that your energy, your discipline, your future, it all matters. And you're not waiting for perfect conditions to get started. You're starting now with what you have, because that's what people who believe in themselves do. They act, they begin, they adjust along the way, but they don't delay the decision to take care of themselves. If you've fallen off track, don't beat yourself up, just begin again. There's no need to punish your body to get results. You don't need to suffer, you just need to show up. You can be kind to yourself and disciplined at the same time. That's real strength. That's maturity. That's the mindset of someone who's not chasing perfection, but building consistency. And remember this, you don't owe anyone a performance. You don't have to prove your fitness to the world. What you're doing is between you and you. It's about proving to yourself that you're worth the effort, that your body deserves care, that your energy is something you can shape. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Just keep moving forward. One workout, one stretch, one walk at a time. No matter where you start, you are capable of becoming someone who thrives physically, mentally, and emotionally. You don't need to make it perfect. You just need to make it real. Let movement become your daily ritual, your reset button, your gift to yourself. It won't just improve your health, it will transform the way you experience every single part of your life. Show up, move forward, and trust that every drop of sweat is building something stronger inside you. That's how you prove yourself to yourself. Through action, through movement, through choosing health every single day. Chapter 5. Read daily to expand knowledge and perspective. Books can change your life in ways that are hard to measure until you've made reading a part of your daily rhythm. There's something quietly transformative about sitting down with a book, turning its pages, and allowing someone else's thoughts, ideas, and wisdom to stretch your own. It's not just about gaining information, though that happens too. It's about building the kind of inner world that can withstand the noise of the outside world. When you make the choice to read every day, you're feeding your mind, training your attention, and expanding your ability to see life through more than one lens. A single page can introduce you to a new way of thinking. A paragraph can plant a seed that shifts your mindset. A sentence can stay with you for years, guiding your actions in difficult moments. Books are tools for self-leadership. They offer a conversation with minds you'll never meet and experiences you'll never live through. They make the world bigger without you ever having to leave your room. And in a world that constantly tries to speed you up, reading slows you down just enough to think clearly and live deliberately. Reading is one of the most honest forms of self-work because no one's watching. There's no applause, no performance, just you and the page. Just your mind meeting someone else's and figuring out what to take in, what to question, and what to leave behind. In that process, you sharpen your judgment. You learn to think for yourself. You begin to shape your own opinions rather than borrow them from the loudest voices around you. This isn't about reading hundreds of books a year. It's not about speed or volume or showing off what you've read. It's about intention. It's about choosing to spend a part of each day with words that challenge you, encourage you, humble you, or inspire you. It can be 10 minutes in the morning, a chapter before bed, a few pages on your lunch break. What matters is that you're consistent, that you keep showing up to learn, not because you're lacking, but because you want to grow. Some of the wisest people you'll ever learn from are found in books. Many of them are no longer alive, but their thoughts live on, and if you're willing to listen, you can access generations of insight that can shape how you live today. That's a gift. That's access to a kind of time travel that lets you gather lessons without having to go through the same mistakes yourself. A well-read person doesn't just know more, they see more, they feel more. They understand nuance, complexity, and contradiction without needing to run from it. When you read widely, you start to build a mental library that supports you through life's challenges. That one line from a philosophy book might help you stay calm when everything around you is chaos. A story about someone else's hardship might help you find strength during your own. A biography might remind you that even the people who changed the world had doubts, setbacks, and failures. Reading doesn't make you invincible, but it does make you more resilient. You become more grounded, more stable, more capable of facing life with clarity. Reading also builds attention span, which is becoming rarer by the day. In a world designed to fracture your focus, sitting down with a book is an act of rebellion. It teaches your mind to stay with one thing at a time, to absorb, to reflect, to stay curious instead of constantly seeking quick answers. That kind of mental training pays off in every part of your life. You become a better thinker, a better listener, a better decision maker. You learn to sit with uncertainty instead of needing instant resolution, and that's a powerful skill. Not all books are created equal, of course. You have to be intentional about what you let in. Just like you wouldn't eat junk food every meal and expect to feel strong and energized, you shouldn't consume mindless content all day and expect mental sharpness. Be selective. Choose books that challenge you, that speak to where you are and where you want to go. Mix it up. Read biographies, psychology, philosophy, history, fiction, personal development. Every genre has something to offer if you approach it with openness and curiosity. Reading also teaches humility. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. That's a good thing. That keeps you grounded. That keeps your ego in check. You become less reactive, less judgmental, more interested in understanding than in being right. You begin to value questions more than answers, because you start to see that real wisdom doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from staying teachable. Reading daily also helps you develop better self-awareness. As you encounter new ideas, you naturally begin to reflect on your own beliefs and habits. You ask yourself why you do what you do. You question old patterns. You update outdated assumptions. That kind of reflection is how growth happens. It's how you evolve without needing to be forced by life's hardest lessons. You become proactive about your development instead of reactive to your circumstances. When you commit to daily reading, you're not just learning new information, you're practicing discipline. You're saying to yourself, "My mind is worth investing in." That habit builds over time. It becomes part of your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who values growth, someone who seeks out wisdom, someone who doesn't settle for surface-level thinking, but goes deeper. And that identity begins to reflect in your choices, your conversations, your goals. Think about how you feel after reading something that truly speaks to you. There's a sense of connection, of clarity, of motivation, maybe even peace. That feeling isn't an accident. It's your inner world aligning with something meaningful. That's what books can do. They reach you in quiet moments and remind you of what matters. They pull you out of distraction and back into purpose. They offer not just knowledge, but perspective. Perspective is everything. Two people can face the same situation and respond in completely different ways, not because of what's happening, but because of how they see it. Reading expands that vision. It shows you different ways to approach problems. It introduces you to lives unlike your own. It breaks the echo chamber of your thinking and helps you develop empathy. And that empathy isn't just for others, it's also for yourself. You start to see your own story with more compassion. You become less harsh, more patient, more understanding. The person you are today is shaped by the thoughts you think regularly. Reading changes those thoughts. It adds new ones. It challenges old ones. Over time, it rewires the way you approach life. Not in a dramatic overnight kind of way, but slowly, steadily, through exposure to better ideas. And the more consistently you read, the more those ideas start to become part of you. They're not just words on a page anymore. They show up in how you lead, how you communicate, how you respond to stress, how you plan your future. You don't have to read for hours every day to get the benefits. What matters is that you show up for it, that you make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Even 15 minutes a day adds up. That's over 90 hours a year. Imagine what kind of wisdom, insight, and clarity you could gain with that kind of commitment. You don't need more time. You just need more intention. Replace 10 minutes of scrolling with 10 minutes of reading, and you've already won. If you want to grow, if you want to lead yourself better, if you want to keep expanding your potential, reading must become a habit, not just once in a while but daily. It's not just for students or scholars or writers. It's for anyone who wants to live a better, fuller, more intentional life. Your future self will thank you for every page you read today. Because reading is not just about information, it's about transformation. And that transformation starts one page at a time, one day at a time, with the quiet decision to keep learning. You don't need to rush. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to commit. Start with one book, one chapter, one sentence. Let that lead to the next, and the next. Keep going. Keep showing up. Because when you read daily, you grow daily. And when you grow daily, you create a life that's not just lived, but truly understood. That's how you prove yourself to yourself, by feeding your mind, expanding your view, and building a relationship with the written word that fuels everything else. Chapter 6. Prioritize tasks to manage time effectively. Time is the one thing you can't earn more of. You can work harder and earn more money. You can exercise and improve your health. You can invest in learning and grow your knowledge, but you will never be able to create more time. That fact alone should be enough to make us take time more seriously. And yet, most people waste it every single day without realizing what it's costing them, not just in opportunities, but in self-respect, fulfillment, and growth. When you're not in control of your time, you're not in control of your life. And if you want to prove yourself to yourself, mastering your time is non-negotiable. That starts with learning how to prioritize. There's a point in everyone's life when they realize that doing everything is impossible. The to-do list never ends. No matter how fast you move, new tasks show up. But the problem isn't the size of the list. The problem is the mindset of trying to do everything without understanding what actually matters. What you focus on determines what gets done, and what gets done shapes the outcomes of your day, your week, your year, and your entire life. So the real question is, are you spending your time on the right things? Every day when you wake up, you're given a gift. Not just the gift of being alive, but the opportunity to direct your energy somewhere specific. That energy can go to distractions, or it can go to purpose. It can go to drama, or it can go to growth. It can go to passive scrolling, or it can go to active building. You choose where it goes. And that choice starts with identifying what is worth doing and what is not. Prioritizing is not about being busy. Busy people are everywhere. In fact, some of the busiest people are the least productive. They move constantly, jump from task to task, chase every notification, attend every meeting, say yes to every request, and at the end of the day, they feel exhausted but unaccomplished. That's not success. That's mismanagement. The key to effective prioritization is clarity. When you know what matters most, you can confidently ignore what doesn't. You can shut down the noise and direct your limited energy toward high-value actions that actually move your life forward. Most people never stop to ask themselves what's truly important. They don't define their priorities, they just react to whatever seems urgent. But urgency and importance are not the same. Something can feel urgent and be meaningless. Checking your phone feels urgent, but it adds zero value. Responding to a non-essential email might feel pressing, but it doesn't serve your bigger goals. Meanwhile, the things that are truly important, like deep work, building skills, strengthening relationships, caring for your health, often get pushed aside because they don't scream for your attention. They're quiet. They wait for you to make space. And if you don't, they stay undone. That's why the first step in prioritization is getting brutally honest with yourself. Ask what matters to me right now. What goals am I working toward? What do I value? What kind of person am I trying to become? When you answer those questions with full honesty, you create a framework. That framework gives you the ability to judge each task you're facing. If something helps you move toward your vision of your best self, it gets your time. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The beauty of living intentionally is that it lets you focus your attention. Attention is a superpower in a distracted world. When you can lock in on what matters and ignore what doesn't, you gain momentum. You complete tasks faster. You feel more accomplished. You start finishing instead of just starting. And that creates a new kind of confidence, the confidence that comes from knowing you're doing the right things for the right reasons. But knowing what matters isn't enough. You have to create a system for acting on that knowledge. That's where daily prioritization comes in. Every morning, before you start reacting to the world, take a few moments to think. Don't rush into work. Don't grab your phone. Sit down and ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I need to do today to move closer to the life I want? Write them down. That act alone brings clarity. Suddenly your mind knows what direction to go. You're not trying to do everything. You're trying to do the essentials. And here's something powerful. When you do the essentials, the non-essentials often fade away. You don't have to answer every message. You don't have to say yes to every invite. You don't have to fill every gap in your day with noise. When your main priorities are handled, you feel peace. That peace is where your energy multiplies. Now let's be real. Distractions aren't going anywhere. The world is not going to slow down to support your growth. It's designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. You're going to get interrupted. You're going to feel tempted to switch tasks. You're going to want to chase short-term comfort. That's normal. But discipline comes from doing what needs to be done, even when it's not convenient. And prioritization is a discipline. It's a daily decision to cut through the noise and act on what's essential, not just what's easy. That means protecting your time like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Your life is just a collection of days, and each day is a collection of decisions. If you waste enough days, you waste your life. That sounds harsh, but it's true. Nobody drifts into greatness. Nobody randomly becomes fulfilled. Growth is always the result of deliberate action, and deliberate action only happens when you choose what matters most and give it your full attention. Part of prioritization also means being okay with leaving things undone. You have to be able to say, I didn't do everything, but I did the right things. That's what creates real progress. You don't need 24 hours of hyper-efficiency. You need a few hours of focused, intentional effort on the highest impact tasks. That alone can change everything. One of the most empowering shifts you can make is going from saying, I don't have time, to saying, that's not a priority for me. That one sentence reveals your values. If you say you want to get in shape but never make time for the gym, it's not a time issue, it's a priority issue. If you say you want to write a book but spend every night watching TV, you're choosing comfort over growth. That level of honesty hurts at first, but it's also what sets you free. Because once you accept that your time reflects your values, you can change your life by changing what you prioritize. Another piece that people often miss is the emotional cost of poor prioritization. When you constantly chase low-value tasks, you feel busy but not proud. You feel tired but not fulfilled. That creates a lingering sense of frustration, like you're doing a lot but getting nowhere. It creates anxiety. It leads to burnout, and over time it erodes your belief in your ability to follow through. But when you start the day by handling the most important task, you flip that feeling. You build trust with yourself. You become someone who follows through. That trust is priceless. It creates a foundation for everything else. You'll also notice that when you consistently prioritize well, your confidence increases. Not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what matters. That kind of self-respect can't be faked. It's earned through action. You look in the mirror and you know, I did what I said I would do. That's the kind of quiet power that can't be shaken. And let's not forget, prioritization isn't about being perfect. Life is unpredictable. Things will go off track. You'll get sick. Emergencies will happen. People will let you down. You will let yourself down. But if you've built the habit of daily prioritization, you'll always have an anchor. You'll be able to recenter faster. You won't get lost in the chaos. You'll know how to come back to what matters, because you've practiced doing it every day. There's also something deeply satisfying about doing the hard things first. When you face the uncomfortable task head-on instead of avoiding it, you gain energy. It's counterintuitive, but real. Avoidance drains you. Action energizes you. So when you build the habit of starting with what's most important, even when it's hard, you strengthen your ability to handle life. You become more resilient, more focused, more effective, and that spills into every area of your life. You'll find your relationships improve because you're not constantly overwhelmed. You'll make progress on long-term goals because you're not stuck in endless loops of busyness. You'll feel more present because your mind isn't scattered across a dozen unimportant tasks. All of that starts with a simple but powerful habit, prioritizing your time every single day. So if you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, make this your commitment. Each morning before the world tries to decide your day for you, decide it for yourself. Ask what matters. Write it down. Do the hard thing first. Protect your time. Ignore the noise. Focus on progress, not perfection. And when the day ends, reflect not on how much you did, but on whether you did the right things. This is how you earn your own respect. This is how you build real momentum. This is how you prove yourself to yourself, one intentional day at a time. Chapter 7. Maintain a balanced diet for optimal energy. The way you eat directly shapes the way you think, feel, and move through the world. Most people never stop to notice it. They wake up tired, reach for coffee or sugar to boost themselves into motion, then wonder why they crash midday. They get used to foggy thoughts, low moods, and poor focus, and they never think to trace it back to their food. But your body is not some separate machine from your mind. What you put into it determines your ability to focus, to show up with energy, to pursue your goals with clarity and consistency. If you want to prove yourself to yourself, the very first step is fueling yourself properly. This isn't about diets or restriction or chasing a perfect physique. It's about treating your body with the respect it deserves so you can perform at your best, physically, mentally, and emotionally. The truth is, many people set goals, make plans, and write to-do lists, but they constantly sabotage themselves by ignoring what they eat. They don't realize that discipline isn't just about keeping a schedule or pushing through discomfort. It starts with managing your energy. If your body is sluggish, your brain follows. If your brain is cloudy, your motivation disappears, and when motivation disappears, the whole cycle of self-growth breaks down. That's why taking control of your diet is one of the most practical ways to take control of your life. You don't need to become obsessed, you just need to become aware. Pay attention to what food does to you, not just how it tastes, but how it makes you feel an hour later. Does it energize you, or slow you down? Does it sharpen your mind, or dull your focus? Your body is always giving you feedback, but most people are too distracted to listen. When you choose food that supports you, you're making a quiet but powerful commitment to yourself. You're saying, I matter, my goals matter, my energy matters. And that shift, though small at first, starts to ripple into every part of your life. You wake up clearer. You move with more intention. You don't rely on willpower to get through the day because your body is actually on your side. That's a game changer. The idea isn't to be perfect, it's to be consistent. You don't need to count every calorie or avoid every craving. You just need to make decisions that serve your future self. That means choosing food not just for how it tastes now, but for how it helps you function later. You don't eat to feel full. You eat to feel alive. There's no magic formula here, just real food, eaten in balance, with intention. Think fresh over processed. Think whole over artificial. Think steady over extreme. The more you simplify, the easier it gets. And the more you build routines around your meals, the less decision-making energy you waste. One of the best habits you can create is starting your day with something that nourishes you instead of drains you. Skip the sugary cereal. Skip the empty toast. Give your body something it can actually use. Protein, healthy fats, complex carbs, foods that fuel your brain and muscles instead of spiking your blood sugar and making you crash before noon. When you start your day like this, everything changes. You become more stable emotionally. You become more alert mentally. You start to realize that food isn't a reward or a crutch, it's your fuel. And when you treat it that way, your whole relationship with yourself improves. So much of self-respect comes from the small choices we make in private. No one's watching what you eat in the morning. No one's applauding you for skipping soda or choosing water, but you feel the difference. And over time, those little moments build trust with yourself. You start to rely on your own discipline. You no longer need motivation to stay consistent because consistency becomes part of who you are. You no longer struggle with energy because your habits are built to support you. That's the real value of a balanced diet. It's not about looking a certain way. It's about living a certain way, with strength, stability, and self-control. When your body feels strong, your mind follows. You think clearer. You make better decisions. You stop reacting emotionally to everything because you're no longer running on low energy and scattered thoughts. And that inner steadiness helps you show up in life with a different kind of presence. People feel it. You feel it. You move differently when your system is well fed and functioning at its best. That's why eating well is not just a health decision, it's a mindset decision. It's one of the most foundational forms of self-mastery. Because it's hard. It takes awareness. It takes effort. It requires you to say no to short-term pleasure in service of long-term strength. And that right there is the essence of discipline. You don't get stronger by chance. You get stronger by habits. You get stronger by showing up for yourself in the boring, unglamorous daily decisions that no one else sees. And what you eat is one of those decisions. Every meal is a chance to either fuel your focus or feed your fatigue. It's your call. And that level of control, when you really take it seriously, becomes deeply empowering. You no longer feel like a victim of your energy. You don't blame your lack of motivation. You don't wish you felt better. You make yourself feel better. That's ownership. That's maturity. That's self-leadership in the most practical form. Of course, you'll have moments where you slip. That's human. You'll have cravings, stress, busy days where planning falls apart. But the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's building enough structure and intention around your diet that those moments become the exception, not the rule. One bad meal doesn't undo your discipline. One off day doesn't define you. What matters is that you return to the pattern you've created. And that pattern, eating in a way that supports your highest self, is what turns your potential into real daily strength. You don't need to obsess over the details. You just need to care about the direction. Are you building yourself or breaking yourself down? Are you eating like someone who respects their purpose or someone who is constantly escaping it? Food is personal. It connects to your culture, your upbringing, your emotions, and changing your relationship with food is not always easy. But it is worth it. Because once you take responsibility for what you put in your body, you start taking responsibility for everything else. You become more intentional about your time. You become more thoughtful with your focus. You take yourself more seriously. And from there, your whole identity starts to shift. You no longer settle for foggy thinking or drained afternoons. You start expecting more from your body because you're giving it what it needs. And that loop of self-respect grows stronger every single day. If you've struggled with energy, motivation, or discipline, start with your meals. Track how you feel after you eat. Notice what gives you clarity and what makes you sluggish. Begin to replace mindless eating with mindful fueling. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be consistent. Create a plan that works for your lifestyle and stick to it. Prepare meals in advance when you can. Keep healthy options visible and easy. Limit temptations by not keeping them around. Make the better choice the easiest choice. And when you mess up, don't spiral. Just get back to what you've committed to. That's what it means to live in alignment. That's what it means to prove yourself to yourself. Your energy is everything. You can't build dreams, fight through resistance, or become the person you want to be without energy. So take care of it, protect it, feed it. Not just with sleep or rest or motivation, but with real food that supports real action. This is the foundation, and once you get this right, everything else becomes easier. Not effortless, but easier. Because now you're not fighting against yourself. You're building from within. Your life is shaped by how you show up every day. And how you show up depends on how you fuel yourself. That's the bottom line. If you want to rise above average, if you want to live with purpose and power and discipline, then start by giving your body what it actually needs to thrive. Prove to yourself that you're worth the effort, that you won't settle for low energy, that you care enough about your purpose to eat in a way that supports it. That's not just self-improvement, that's self-respect. And that's where true transformation begins. Chapter 8. Reflect on daily experiences to learn and grow. Reflection is a tool that many people overlook. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of the day, moving from one task to the next, without ever stopping to check in with yourself. We're always on the go, always in motion, always trying to accomplish something. But in that constant rush, we miss the opportunity to truly learn from our experiences. Every day offers a wealth of lessons, but without reflection, those lessons remain buried. They go unnoticed and unprocessed, slipping through the cracks of our busy lives. If you truly want to improve, if you want to become the best version of yourself, then you need to make reflection a part of your daily routine. It's not just about looking back, it's about learning and growing from every experience you have. It's about looking at your day, at the decisions you made, at the actions you took, and asking, what went well? What could I have done better? What did I learn from this? Reflection is the key to understanding not only your successes, but also your failures. It helps you break down why something worked or why it didn't. It allows you to uncover hidden patterns in your behavior, your emotions, and your choices. When you reflect, you gain insights into your habits, your thought processes, and your triggers. You begin to understand yourself at a deeper level. This understanding is the foundation of personal growth. The process of reflection doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require long journaling sessions or deep philosophical pondering. It can be as simple as taking a few moments at the end of the day to check in with yourself. You don't need a structured format to reflect. It can be done in whatever way feels most natural to you. You can ask yourself questions, write down your thoughts, or simply sit quietly and allow your mind to process the events of the day. The key is consistency. Make it a habit. Make it a part of your routine. One of the most powerful ways to reflect is by reviewing the decisions you made throughout the day. Ask yourself, what choices did I make? Were they in line with my goals? Did I act with intention, or did I react mindlessly? We often go through the motions of life without thinking much about the decisions we make, especially in the heat of the moment. But every choice we make is shaping our future. Reflection allows you to see where you might have made better decisions and helps you learn how to make better ones in the future. It allows you to course correct before you get too far off track. When you reflect, you're also learning to be honest with yourself. This isn't a time for self-criticism or self-blame. Reflection is not about beating yourself up for what you did wrong. It's about gaining clarity on what you can do better moving forward. It's about being aware of your mistakes and using them as stepping stones for growth. It's about being honest with yourself in a constructive way. For example, if you had a stressful interaction with a coworker, you can reflect on what triggered your response. Were you feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or defensive? What part of that situation was within your control? Reflection helps you identify areas where you might need to develop more patience, better communication, or more self-regulation. And once you identify these areas, you can start working on them. In addition to learning from mistakes, reflection also allows you to celebrate your wins. We often get so focused on what went wrong that we forget to acknowledge what went right. But recognizing your successes is just as important as learning from your failures. When you reflect on your accomplishments, no matter how small, you reinforce positive behavior. You build confidence. You remind yourself that you are capable, that you are progressing. Celebrating your wins, big or small, helps you stay motivated and reminds you why you're on this journey in the first place. Reflection is also an opportunity to check in with your emotional state. How did you feel throughout the day? Were there moments when you felt frustrated, anxious, or overwhelmed? Understanding your emotional responses is a crucial part of personal growth. Often our emotions can drive our behavior without us even realizing it. By reflecting on your emotions, you can begin to see patterns and triggers. Maybe you tend to feel overwhelmed when you're asked to take on too many tasks at once. Or perhaps you get anxious in social situations or when you're under pressure. By identifying these emotional patterns, you can take steps to address them. You can develop coping strategies, build emotional resilience, and ultimately respond more effectively to life's challenges. Another aspect of reflection is the ability to evaluate your progress. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, steady process, but without taking the time to reflect, it's easy to miss how far you've come. Reflection helps you track your progress and see how your daily actions are adding up over time. Maybe you've been consistently sticking to your morning routine for a month, or you've made a commitment to exercise every day. By reflecting on these actions, you can see the cumulative effect of your efforts. This not only motivates you to keep going, but also reinforces the importance of small, consistent actions. Reflection also gives you an opportunity to identify areas in your life that may need more attention. Are there areas where you're struggling? Are there habits you've been trying to break but keep falling back into? Are there things you've been procrastinating on that need to be dealt with? Reflection helps you pinpoint these areas of resistance. When you identify them, you can begin to take action. You can set intentions to address them and create a plan for improvement. Reflection helps you avoid drifting through life without taking responsibility for the things that matter most to you. It keeps you aligned with your values and your goals. This process of reflecting on your day doesn't have to be long. You don't need hours of solitude or quiet time to gain insights. It's about consistency and intention. If you take even 5 minutes at the end of the day to check in with yourself, you'll start noticing patterns and insights that you would have missed otherwise. Over time, these small reflections will accumulate and provide a clearer picture of who you are, where you're going, and how you're getting there. You may also find that reflecting on your day improves your ability to stay present in the moment. When you take the time to review your experiences, you're developing the skill of mindfulness. You're learning to pay attention to the present moment, to notice how you feel, how you react, and what you need. Mindfulness in reflection doesn't mean analyzing every single detail. It means noticing what stands out, what lessons can be drawn, and what areas need your focus. When you start practicing this regularly, it becomes easier to stay present throughout your day. You become more aware of your thoughts and feelings in real time, which allows you to respond more consciously rather than react impulsively. In a world that's constantly moving, it's easy to forget that you can choose how you respond. Reflection helps you regain that power. By pausing and looking back at your day, you gain a sense of perspective. You stop getting swept up in the chaos and start taking back control. You stop letting life happen to you and begin making choices with intention. Reflection is an act of self-care. It's a gift you give yourself to pause, to breathe, to learn, and to grow. It's about taking ownership of your experiences, understanding them, and using them to become the best version of yourself. When you make reflection a habit, it transforms the way you live. It becomes a tool that sharpens your focus, deepens your understanding, and accelerates your growth. It's one of the most powerful tools you have for improving your life. And the best part is, it's available to you every single day. You don't need anything special to reflect. All you need is a willingness to look at your experiences honestly and to learn from them. This simple practice will make you more aware, more resilient, and more empowered to move toward the life you want to create. Reflecting on your daily experiences isn't just a habit, it's a way of life. One that leads you to continuous improvement, deeper self-understanding, and lasting transformation. Chapter 9. Limit distractions to enhance productivity. We live in a world that constantly competes for our attention. Everywhere we turn, something is trying to pull us away from what really matters. Whether it's our phones lighting up with endless notifications, the lure of social media promising a momentary escape, or the steady stream of emails demanding replies, the modern environment is filled with distractions. And while some of these interruptions seem harmless or even necessary, over time they chip away at our ability to focus. The cost of distraction is more than lost time. It's lost progress, lost potential, and lost control of your day. If you want to be more productive and truly take control of your life, one of the most important things you can do is learn how to limit distractions. You don't need superhuman discipline to be focused. What you need is intention. You need to become aware of the things that pull your mind away and start reclaiming your attention, moment by moment. Productivity isn't about doing more things, it's about doing the right things with full presence. Distractions steal your presence. They scatter your thoughts, break your momentum, and rob you of the satisfaction that comes from deep, focused work. If you've ever had a day where you worked for hours but still felt like you got nothing done, chances are distractions were the reason. Many people assume they're just not good at focusing, that maybe they weren't born with the ability to concentrate deeply. But that's not true. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. But it requires practice, and it starts with becoming conscious of your environment and your habits. Every time you let a distraction take your attention, you're reinforcing the habit of being unfocused. But the opposite is also true. Every time you resist a distraction, even for a few minutes, you're strengthening your ability to stay in control. One of the first steps to limiting distractions is to understand what your main distractions are. And for most people, the answer is obvious. Their phone. Your phone is probably the single most powerful source of interruption in your life. It's designed to grab your attention, to keep you coming back, to give you a quick hit of stimulation every time you're bored. And it works. But over time, it weakens your mental muscles. It makes it harder to sit still, to be with your thoughts, to do work that requires depth and patience. If you want to be productive, the phone needs boundaries. You don't have to get rid of it, but you do have to take control of it. Turn off non-essential notifications. Put it out of sight when you're working. Give yourself specific times to check it and stick to them. The same goes for email. Email can feel productive. It can make you feel like you're getting things done. But the truth is, constantly checking your inbox can destroy your ability to focus. If you're switching back and forth between tasks and emails all day long, your brain never gets into a state of deep work. Instead, you stay in a shallow reactive mode. Try checking your email at set times during the day, rather than keeping it open all the time. When you're working on something important, close it. You'll get more done in less time, and the quality of your work will improve. Social media is another major distraction. It offers a quick hit of connection or entertainment, and it's always just a tap away. But if you're checking it throughout the day, you're fragmenting your attention and weakening your ability to stay focused. Social media isn't inherently bad, but if you're serious about being productive, you need to use it on your terms, not let it use you. You can set limits on your usage, delete apps during work hours, or even take breaks from it entirely if that helps you get back in control. But distractions aren't always digital. Sometimes they come from your physical environment. A cluttered space can create mental clutter. Constant interruptions from others can break your flow. Noise, disorganization, and even the way your workspace is set up can influence how easily you get distracted. If you want to focus, create an environment that supports it. Keep your space clean. Organize your tools. Let the people around you know when you need uninterrupted time. Small changes in your environment can have a big impact on your ability to concentrate. And then there are internal distractions, the thoughts, worries, and emotions that pull you away from the task at hand. You might sit down to do something important and find yourself thinking about a conversation you had earlier or worrying about what you have to do later. These internal distractions are often the hardest to manage because they live in your mind. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. One way to deal with them is to build awareness. When a distracting thought arises, notice it without judgment and gently bring your focus back to what you were doing. You don't have to fight the thought, just don't follow it. Over time, you'll get better at staying anchored in the present moment. Another helpful strategy is to create clear boundaries for your focus time. If your entire day is open and unstructured, distractions will creep in. But if you block off specific times for focused work, you're more likely to protect that time. Give yourself a clear starting point and an end point. Let your mind know, this is when I focus. And during that time, eliminate as many distractions as possible. Put your phone away, close unnecessary tabs, and commit fully to the task. Even short periods of deep focus, just 30 to 60 minutes, can have a huge impact when done consistently. You don't need to be perfect. Distractions will still happen, but the goal isn't to eliminate every possible interruption forever. The goal is to become more aware of them, more intentional with your attention, and more committed to staying focused on what matters. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're moving closer to your potential. You're training your brain to stay present, to go deeper, and to do work that matters. And here's the truth. Being productive isn't about being busy all day. It's about making real progress on the things that count. You could spend 10 hours being distracted and barely move the needle, or you could spend 2 hours in focused effort and make a major breakthrough. Focus creates momentum. Distraction kills it. If you want to grow, to create, to improve, you have to protect your attention like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. I'll continue the rest of the chapter in the next message. Let me know if you're ready to continue. Chapter 10. Cultivate resilience by embracing challenges. Life will never wait for us to be ready. It will keep testing, pushing, and stretching us in ways we never expected. And when those challenges come, whether in the form of failure, loss, rejection, or doubt, it's not our comfort or ease that defines us. It's our response. It's what we do when things get heavy. That's where resilience is built. That's where we begin to prove ourselves to ourselves. Resilience is not about pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's not about being tough in a shallow way or denying that you're struggling. Real resilience is much deeper than that. It's the decision to keep going even when every part of you feels like giving up. It's the quiet strength to get back up after you've fallen. It's choosing growth over excuses. It's refusing to be a victim of your circumstances. That's the kind of resilience that transforms a life. But how do you build this kind of strength when the world feels overwhelming? How do you stay grounded when everything seems uncertain? You begin by embracing your challenges, not as punishments, but as opportunities to become more. You shift your mindset from "why is this happening to me?" to "what is this here to teach me?" That one change can unlock a whole new world inside you. A world of personal power that you never knew you had. Think about the strongest people you know. They didn't become that way because life was easy for them. They became that way because they faced hardship and learned how to turn it into fuel. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They adapted. They stayed steady when others fell apart. They chose growth day after day, no matter how tired or discouraged they felt. That's what makes someone powerful, not perfection, but persistence. Every challenge you face is giving you a chance to sharpen your mindset. It's not breaking you down, it's building you up, but only if you decide to lean into it instead of run from it. The discomfort you're feeling isn't the enemy. It's the signal. It's the path forward. When you stop avoiding hard things and start walking straight into them with clarity and commitment, you change. Not instantly, but over time, deeply and permanently. We're often taught to seek comfort and avoid struggle, but that kind of thinking creates weakness. It makes us reactive, anxious, dependent. It makes us afraid of the very things that could set us free. The truth is, there is no strength without adversity. You can't know what you're made of if you never get tested. Resilience isn't found in the easy moments. It's earned in the trenches of life, when you keep showing up even when nothing seems to be going your way. So how do you start building that inner armor? First, by facing your reality honestly. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't hide from it. If something is hard, say it's hard. If you feel lost, admit it. There's no shame in being human. But once you name it, don't stop there. Ask yourself, what can I control here? And then take ownership of that. Action is the antidote to helplessness. Even small steps forward count, especially small steps, because they lead to momentum, and momentum changes everything. You have to stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline. Resilience isn't built when you feel like doing the work. It's built when you do the work anyway. When you get up early, even though you're exhausted. When you keep going, even though the progress is slow. When you stick to your standards, even when no one's watching. That's how self-respect is formed. That's how you start trusting yourself at a deeper level. You also need to stop comparing your journey to anyone else's. Everyone is dealing with their own internal battles. What you see on the surface never tells the whole story. Some people are good at hiding their struggles. Others are just in a different season of life. But none of that matters. What matters is that you're committed to your own growth. That you're waking up every day, ready to put in the work to become stronger, wiser, and more grounded than you were yesterday. And yes, Some days you will fall short. You'll break down. You'll question yourself. That's okay. That's part of the process. No one gets it right all the time. But resilience means you don't stay down. You reset. You regroup. You recommit. You get back on your feet and move forward with even more clarity. Every time you do that, you become a little more unshakable, a little more unbreakable, a little more you. One of the most powerful things you can do is build routines that support your strength. When chaos hits, habits keep you grounded. They give you a structure to lean on when motivation fades. That's why things like exercise, journaling, meditation, cold showers, and digital boundaries matter so much. They're not just routines. They're tools that sharpen your resilience. They keep you connected to your values when life tries to knock you off course. You also need to talk to yourself like someone who matters. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Are you tearing yourself down or lifting yourself up? Are you focused on what you lack or what you can do? Resilience starts in the mind. If you're constantly feeding yourself doubt, negativity and criticism, you're weakening your foundation. Speak to yourself with the same encouragement and belief that you'd offer to someone you love. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses which thoughts to follow. There will be seasons where everything feels like it's falling apart, where the pressure is relentless and the answers aren't clear. But even in those moments, you have a choice. You can choose to give up, or you can choose to grow. Growth won't always feel good, but it will always be worth it. You're not here to play small or live in fear. You're here to rise, to overcome, to become the kind of person who looks back and says, I went through all of that and I'm still standing. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you know. The pain you're facing is not permanent. It's preparing you. It's shaping you. It's giving you the tools you'll need for the future you're building. Don't waste your suffering. Use it, channel it, turn it into wisdom, grit and clarity. Let every setback teach you something new about yourself. Let every hard day sharpen your self-discipline. Let every failure become a stepping stone to something greater. And don't forget, resilience doesn't mean doing it all alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on people. True strength is knowing when to reach out and when to pull yourself up. Don't confuse independence with isolation. We all need support. We all need connection. Let the people who care about you be part of your journey. Let them remind you who you are when you forget. Start seeing every challenge as a teacher. What is this situation revealing about your character? What is it calling you to strengthen? Where is it asking you to grow? The answers won't always come right away. But if you stay open, if you stay patient, they will come. Keep listening. Keep learning. Keep going. Resilience is not a finish line. It's a practice, a way of living. It's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching, in the decisions you make when things get hard, in the attitude you carry when things don't go your way. Over time, it becomes part of you, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Every day is another chance to build that strength. Every setback is another opportunity to choose growth. Every challenge is another test you can pass by showing up, staying grounded, and staying true to yourself. Prove yourself to yourself, not just in the good times, but especially in the tough ones. Because the way you handle the hard moments says everything about who you really are becoming. And if you can face the fire with courage, clarity, and self-respect, then there is nothing you cannot become. Chapter 11. Practice gratitude to foster a positive mindset. Gratitude is a transformative force that shapes the way we experience life. It is not just a feeling, but a deliberate practice that can shift perspectives, improve well-being, and create a lasting sense of fulfillment. Every day presents an opportunity to focus on what is going well rather than fixating on what is lacking. When gratitude becomes a habit, it rewires the mind to recognize the abundance already present instead of constantly chasing after something more. In a world that often conditions people to seek the next achievement, possession, or validation, gratitude serves as a grounding force, allowing individuals to appreciate what is in front of them. Developing a mindset of gratitude does not mean ignoring struggles or pretending that everything is perfect. Instead, it means choosing to acknowledge the good amid the difficulties. It is about recognizing that despite challenges, there are always aspects of life worth appreciating. Whether it is the support of loved ones, the lessons learned from adversity, or the simple beauty found in everyday moments, gratitude turns attention toward what is enriching rather than what is lacking. This shift in focus is powerful because it influences emotional well-being, mental resilience, and even physical health. One of the most effective ways to cultivate gratitude is by making it a daily practice. Setting aside time each day to reflect on specific things to be grateful for can train the mind to look for the positives, even in challenging situations. This can be done by keeping a gratitude journal where a few things are written down every day that brought joy, comfort, or a sense of accomplishment. This small but intentional action reinforces a habit of appreciation. Over time, it creates a more optimistic outlook, making it easier to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of balance. Expressing gratitude to others is another way to strengthen a mindset of appreciation. Acknowledging the kindness, support, or presence of people in life fosters deeper connections and enhances relationships. Simple words of thanks, heartfelt messages, or acts of kindness can create a ripple effect, inspiring more positivity in interactions. When gratitude is outwardly expressed, it does not just uplift the recipient, but also strengthens the giver's own sense of appreciation. The act of recognizing and vocalizing appreciation deepens the emotional impact, reinforcing the habit of focusing on the good in people and experiences. Another essential aspect of fostering gratitude is learning to appreciate small, everyday moments. Many people wait for grand achievements or major life events to feel grateful, but true gratitude lies in noticing the ordinary yet meaningful experiences. The warmth of the sun, a deep conversation, a delicious meal, or even the ability to breathe and move freely are all sources of gratitude. When people learn to recognize these moments, they experience more joy and satisfaction in life. Instead of constantly striving for more, they begin to see that they already have so much to be thankful for. A grateful mindset also transforms the way challenges are perceived. Instead of seeing difficulties as purely negative experiences, gratitude allows for a broader perspective. Every setback, hardship, or failure carries a lesson, an opportunity for growth, or a hidden blessing. Those who practice gratitude regularly learn to reframe their struggles, asking themselves what can be learned from the experience rather than dwelling on frustration or disappointment. This mindset fosters resilience, making it easier to move forward with strength and wisdom. Gratitude also plays a significant role in reducing stress and anxiety. When the mind is consumed by worries about the future or regrets about the past, gratitude brings focus back to the present. It shifts attention to what is good in the moment, creating a sense of peace and contentment. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly experience lower levels of stress and depression. Their minds are trained to seek positivity, making it easier to handle difficulties with a sense of calm rather than panic. Another profound effect of gratitude is its ability to enhance overall life satisfaction. When people focus on what they have rather than what they lack, they naturally feel more fulfilled. Many individuals chase success, wealth, or external validation, believing these things will bring happiness. However, without gratitude, even the greatest achievements can feel empty. On the other hand, when people appreciate what they already have, they experience deeper joy and a sense of purpose. Gratitude shifts the focus from scarcity to abundance, creating a mindset that sees life as already full rather than constantly needing more. Gratitude is also a key ingredient in strengthening relationships. In both personal and professional settings, expressing appreciation fosters trust, respect, and a sense of connection. When people feel valued, they are more likely to reciprocate kindness and support. This creates a positive cycle where appreciation fuels stronger bonds and deeper relationships. In contrast, taking things or people for granted can lead to discontent and distance. By actively recognizing and acknowledging the contributions of others, relationships become more meaningful and fulfilling. The power of gratitude extends beyond emotions and mental well-being. It also impacts physical health. Studies have found that individuals who practice gratitude consistently tend to have better sleep, stronger immune systems, and lower blood pressure. The reason behind this lies in the connection between mind and body. When the mind is filled with appreciation and positivity, stress levels decrease, leading to better overall health. Grateful individuals are also more likely to engage in healthy behaviors, such as exercising, eating well, and maintaining good sleep habits. Practicing gratitude does not require grand gestures or complex rituals. It is about shifting focus, making a conscious effort to recognize the good in every situation. It is about replacing complaints with appreciation, looking for silver linings, and celebrating progress rather than fixating on what is missing. This practice does not mean ignoring problems, but rather approaching them with a perspective that acknowledges the good that exists alongside challenges. Developing a gratitude habit requires consistency. Just like any other skill, it takes time to become second nature. It helps to set daily reminders, whether through journaling, verbal expressions of thanks, or simply pausing to reflect on positive moments throughout the day. Over time, gratitude becomes a natural part of thinking patterns, effortlessly shaping a more optimistic and fulfilling life. When gratitude is deeply ingrained, it transforms not just individual lives, but also the way people interact with the world. It fosters kindness, generosity, and a sense of interconnectedness. It creates a ripple effect, spreading positivity beyond the self and into the lives of others. A grateful person is more likely to inspire and uplift those around them, creating an environment of encouragement and appreciation. Life will always present both blessings and challenges, but a gratitude-focused mindset ensures that even amid difficulties, there is something to hold on to. Instead of waiting for circumstances to be perfect, choosing gratitude allows individuals to find peace and joy in the present. This practice is not just about feeling good, it is about developing resilience, strengthening relationships, and cultivating a mindset that sees abundance in every moment. Gratitude is a powerful tool for shaping a fulfilling life, and when embraced fully, it becomes a way of living that continuously enhances personal growth and well-being. Chapter 12. Develop new skills through continuous learning. Every new skill you acquire broadens your opportunities, sharpens your mind, and builds your confidence. It enables you to adapt to changes, overcome challenges, and continuously evolve into a better version of yourself. No matter where you are in life, learning should never stop. The moment you stop growing, you start declining. Life is dynamic, and those who stay ahead are the ones who make learning a daily habit. The first step in developing new skills is recognizing that learning is a lifelong journey. Too many people believe that once they finish school, their education is complete. This mindset leads to stagnation. The most successful people in the world, whether in business, sports, or any field, are those who actively seek out new knowledge and skills. They read, practice, experiment, and push themselves beyond their comfort zones. Learning is not just about gaining knowledge. It is about applying what you learn and using it to improve your life and the lives of others. To begin your journey of continuous learning, start by identifying the skills that will add the most value to your life. Ask yourself, what abilities will help me achieve my goals? What skills do I need to move forward in my career? What knowledge will improve my personal growth? Your learning should be purposeful and aligned with what you want to achieve. If you are looking to advance in your career, focus on skills that are in demand in your industry. If you want to become more independent, learn skills like financial management, communication, or problem solving. Once you have chosen a skill to develop, create a structured learning plan. Many people fail at learning new skills because they approach it randomly. They might read an article here or watch a video there, but without consistency, their progress is slow. To truly master a skill, you need a plan. Set a goal for what you want to achieve and break it down into small, manageable steps. If you want to learn a new language, set a goal to learn a certain number of words each day. If you are learning a technical skill, dedicate a specific amount of time each day to practice. The key is consistency. A little progress every day adds up to significant improvement over time. Learning is most effective when it is active. Simply consuming information is not enough. You need to apply what you learn. If you are learning to write, start writing every day. If you are learning to code, build projects. If you are learning a new language, practice speaking it as often as possible. Application reinforces knowledge and helps you retain what you have learned. Seek feedback from others and refine your skills based on what you learn from your mistakes. Growth happens when you push yourself to apply new knowledge in real-world situations. One of the most important aspects of continuous learning is having the right mindset. Many people believe they are either naturally good at something or they are not, and this belief holds them back. The truth is, skills are built through practice and effort. When you embrace a growth mindset, you understand that your abilities are not fixed. They can improve with dedication and persistence. If you struggle with something initially, that does not mean you are incapable, it just means you need more practice. Every expert was once a beginner. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is persistence. Failure is a part of learning. Too many people give up on developing new skills because they experience setbacks. But failure is not a sign that you should quit. It is a sign that you are pushing yourself beyond your current limits, which is exactly where growth happens. When you make mistakes, learn from them. Instead of seeing failure as a roadblock, view it as a stepping stone to improvement. The people who master skills are the ones who keep going despite the challenges they face. Surrounding yourself with the right environment can accelerate your learning. If you want to develop new skills, immerse yourself in a community of learners. Find mentors who can guide you. Join groups where people share similar interests. When you engage with others who are on the same journey, you stay motivated and accountable. Learning is not meant to be a solo journey. When you connect with others, you gain new perspectives, learn from their experiences, and push yourself to improve. In today's world, access to learning has never been easier. You have an abundance of resources at your fingertips. Online courses, books, podcasts, tutorials, and communities provide endless opportunities to gain new knowledge. If you want to learn something, there is almost certainly a course or resource available to help you. Take advantage of these resources and make learning a priority. But remember, consuming information alone is not enough. The key is to take action. Apply what you learn, practice consistently, and track your progress. One of the best ways to reinforce your learning is by teaching others. When you explain a concept to someone else, you deepen your understanding. Teaching forces you to break down complex ideas into simple terms, which helps solidify your knowledge. If you are learning a new skill, find someone to share your knowledge with. Not only will you help others, but you will also strengthen your own expertise. As you develop new skills, celebrate your progress. Recognize the improvements you make along the way. Too often, people focus on how far they still have to go instead of how much they have already achieved. Small wins build momentum. Every step forward is proof that you are growing. Acknowledge your progress and use it as motivation to keep going. Continuous learning is not just about professional development, it is about personal growth as well. The more you learn, the more confident you become. You gain the ability to solve problems, think critically, and adapt to change. Learning empowers you to take control of your life. It gives you the tools to shape your future instead of just reacting to circumstances. When you commit to learning new skills, you are investing in yourself. It is a decision that will pay off in every area of your life. Whether you are looking to advance in your career, improve your relationships, or simply become a more capable person, learning is the key. It is the foundation of progress and the path to becoming the best version of yourself. There is no limit to what you can achieve when you make learning a lifelong habit. The only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. The more you challenge yourself to grow, the more you will realize your true potential. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new, to become better, and to move closer to your goals. Commit to the journey of continuous learning, and you will unlock doors you never thought possible. Chapter 13. Establish boundaries by confidently saying no. Saying no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, yet it is also one of the most difficult. People often feel obligated to say yes, to avoid conflict, to please others, or to maintain relationships. However, failing to set boundaries can lead to exhaustion, frustration, and a loss of control over your own life. Learning to say no confidently is not about being rude or selfish. It is about protecting your time, energy, and mental well-being. Establishing clear boundaries allows you to prioritize what truly matters to you without feeling guilty or obligated to meet everyone else's expectations. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear rejection or disapproval. They worry that by turning someone down, they will be seen as unkind, unreliable, or even ungrateful. This mindset often leads to overcommitment, stress, and resentment. The reality is that every time you say yes to something that does not align with your priorities, you are saying no to something that does. Your time is finite, and every commitment you make should be intentional. When you learn to say no with confidence, you gain control over your choices and free yourself from unnecessary burdens. One of the first steps in setting boundaries is recognizing that you are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. Many people take on obligations because they feel guilty or because they do not want to disappoint others. But the truth is, you cannot make everyone happy. No matter how much you try to accommodate others, there will always be someone who wishes you had done more. The key is to prioritize your own well-being and trust that the people who truly respect you will understand your boundaries. When you stop trying to control how others feel about your decisions, you become free to make choices that serve your best interests. To say no effectively, you must be clear about your own values and priorities. If you do not know what matters most to you, it becomes easy to get pulled in every direction by external demands. Take time to reflect on what is most important in your life, your career, your relationships, your personal growth, your health. When you have a strong sense of your own priorities, it becomes much easier to recognize when a request does not align with them. Instead of feeling conflicted, you can say no with confidence, knowing that you are making the right choice for yourself. Saying no does not mean you have to be harsh or dismissive. You can decline requests politely while still being firm. A simple and direct response is often the most effective. You do not need to over-explain or justify your decision. A response like, "I appreciate the offer, but I won't be able to commit to this right now," is enough. If someone pushes for an explanation, you can repeat your response without feeling pressured to change your mind. The more you practice setting boundaries, the more natural it becomes. It is also important to recognize that saying no is not just about declining new obligations, it is also about removing existing ones that no longer serve you. Many people hold on to commitments out of habit or because they feel an obligation to continue something that no longer brings them value. If you find yourself involved in activities, relationships, or responsibilities that drain you, it may be time to reassess. Letting go of unnecessary commitments creates space for what truly matters. There will be times when saying no feels uncomfortable. You may experience guilt or worry about how others will react. However, discomfort is a small price to pay for the freedom that comes with maintaining your boundaries. Over time, the more you stand firm in your decisions, the easier it becomes. The people who respect you will accept your choices, and those who do not will likely taking advantage of your willingness to always say yes. The more you prioritize yourself, the more you attract relationships and opportunities that align with your values. One of the biggest misconceptions about saying no is that it will harm your relationships. In reality, setting boundaries often strengthens them. When you communicate openly and honestly about what you can and cannot do, you build trust and respect. People appreciate clarity, and those who truly value you will not expect you to sacrifice your well-being for their convenience. If someone reacts negatively to your boundaries, it is often a reflection of their own expectations rather than your actions. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, not on one person constantly giving while the other takes. Developing the ability to say no also increases your self-confidence. When you stand by your decisions, you reinforce your self-worth. Instead of feeling powerless or obligated to meet others' demands, you take control of your own choices. This sense of empowerment extends beyond just saying no. It affects every aspect of your life. You become more decisive, more intentional, and more focused on what truly matters. As you practice setting boundaries, you may notice a shift in how others treat you. When people see that you value your time and energy, they begin to respect your limits. You will attract relationships and opportunities that align with your values, and you will no longer feel weighed down by unnecessary obligations. Saying no is not about pushing people away, it is about creating space for the right people and the right commitments. At its core, learning to say no is about self-respect. It is about valuing yourself enough to choose how you spend your time and energy. It is about recognizing that you are not obligated to meet everyone else's expectations at the expense of your own well-being. The ability to say no is a skill that takes practice, but once mastered, it becomes one of the most liberating and empowering tools in your life. Every time you say no to something that does not align with your goals, you are saying yes to yourself. You are choosing to prioritize what truly matters, to create balance, and to live with intention. The more you embrace this mindset, the more control you gain over your life. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish, it is about being responsible for your own happiness. When you take ownership of your choices, you open the door to a life that is not dictated by others' expectations, but shaped by your own vision. Chapter 14. Connect with others through screen-free conversations. In a world where screens dominate every aspect of life, the art of genuine human connection has become rare. Everywhere you go, people are absorbed in their devices, scrolling endlessly, checking notifications, and half listening to conversations while their eyes remain glued to their screens. The convenience of technology has made communication more accessible than ever, yet it has also distanced us from one another in ways we often fail to notice. Meaningful conversations, the kind that build trust, deepen relationships, and create lasting memories, cannot happen through a screen. They require presence, eye contact, and the ability to listen without distractions. There is something irreplaceable about a conversation where both people are fully engaged, where words are not just exchanged but truly heard and understood. It is in these moments that real connections are formed, yet so many of us have forgotten how to cultivate them. When was the last time you had a conversation where neither you nor the other person checked a phone, responded to a notification, or let a screen steal your attention? It is becoming increasingly rare for people to spend time together without the presence of technology. Even when we sit across from loved ones at dinner or spend time with friends, there is an underlying expectation that our devices will always be within reach. We have normalized interruptions. A phone buzzing in the middle of a deep conversation is no longer seen as rude. It is expected. The result: shallow interactions, half-hearted listening, and relationships that lack depth. The greatest moments in life are not captured through a screen. They are experienced in real time, in the presence of another person who is fully there with you. There is a difference between talking and truly connecting. Anyone can exchange words, but genuine conversation requires effort, attention, and a willingness to be present. It is about more than just speaking. It is about listening with the intent to understand, rather than just waiting for your turn to talk. It is about looking into someone's eyes, reading their expressions, and noticing the emotions behind their words. When you engage in screen-free conversations, you give the other person a rare gift: your undivided attention. In a world where distractions are constant, being fully present is one of the most valuable things you can offer someone. Deep connections are built in the moments where you are fully there, without the urge to check a screen or be somewhere else mentally. People remember how you make them feel more than the words you say. When you put your phone away, maintain eye contact, and actively listen, you create a space where others feel heard and valued. These moments do not just strengthen relationships, they create bonds that last. They turn casual acquaintances into close friends and deepen the trust in existing relationships. Technology allows us to communicate with more people than ever before, yet the quality of these interactions is often lacking. Relationships thrive on depth, and depth is only possible when both people are truly engaged. Many people have become so accustomed to digital communication that they struggle to engage in conversations without their devices. The constant stimulation of notifications, updates, and messages has rewired attention spans, making it difficult for people to focus for extended periods. This has led to a decline in patience, listening skills, and the ability to sit in silence without reaching for a distraction. Yet, when you choose to disconnect from screens and engage in real conversations, you begin to rediscover the beauty of human interaction. You notice the little details, the way someone's face lights up when they talk about something they love, the pauses in their speech that reveal hesitation or excitement, the unspoken emotions that words cannot capture. These subtleties get lost when conversations are interrupted by screens. Creating meaningful conversations without screens requires intentionality. It is easy to default to habits of checking a phone out of boredom or keeping it nearby just in case. But real connection happens when you make a conscious decision to be present. It starts with small actions, putting your phone away during meals, setting aside specific times to be screen-free, and prioritizing face-to-face conversations over digital ones whenever possible. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Soon you will find yourself craving deeper conversations, ones that go beyond surface-level exchanges and lead to real understanding. One of the greatest benefits of screen-free conversations is the ability to truly know and be known by others. When you remove distractions, you give yourself the opportunity to be fully engaged, to ask thoughtful questions, and to listen without interruption. This fosters trust, strengthens relationships, and creates moments of genuine connection. People want to feel valued, and one of the most powerful ways to show someone they matter is to give them your full attention. In a world where distractions are everywhere, presence is a rare and meaningful gift. Beyond deepening relationships, engaging in screen-free conversations also has a profound impact on personal well-being. Constant digital engagement can lead to stress, anxiety, and a feeling of always being on. Stepping away from screens, even for a short time, allows your mind to rest and refocus. It brings a sense of calm, a break from the noise of notifications, and a reminder of what truly matters. When you immerse yourself in a conversation without the interference of a device, you experience a level of connection that is refreshing and fulfilling. It grounds you in the present moment and allows you to appreciate the richness of real-life interactions. Technology is not the enemy, it is a tool. When used mindfully, it can enhance communication and bring people together. However, when it replaces real interaction, it creates distance. The key is balance. There is a time for screens and a time for screen-free connection. Recognizing when to put devices aside and engage fully with those around you is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. It is a choice, one that requires effort, but yields incredible rewards. The more you prioritize real conversations, the more you will notice a shift in your relationships, your attention span, and your overall sense of connection to the world around you. Life is happening in front of you, not through a screen. The moments that will stay with you are not the ones captured in digital form, but the ones experienced in real time, in the presence of others. Choosing to engage in screen-free conversations is not just about improving communication, it is about reclaiming depth in relationships, strengthening human connection, and fully immersing yourself in the beauty of the present moment. The more you practice this, the more you will realize that the most meaningful interactions in life happen when you put the screen down and truly listen. Chapter 15. Use productivity tools to stay organized. It is about creating a system that allows you to function efficiently, minimize stress, and make the most of your time. Life is filled with countless tasks, responsibilities, and commitments, and without a structured approach, it is easy to become overwhelmed. The mind is not meant to hold on to every little detail. When you try to rely solely on memory, you set yourself up for failure. Productivity tools exist for a reason. They serve as extensions of your brain, helping you track tasks, manage priorities, and maintain clarity in your day-to-day life. The goal is not just to stay busy, but to work smarter, ensuring that your energy is directed toward meaningful progress rather than wasted on inefficiencies. Many people underestimate the impact of organization on their overall well-being. When things are scattered, both physically and mentally, it creates a sense of chaos that seeps into every aspect of life. Forgetting important deadlines, struggling to keep track of projects, or feeling like there is never enough time in the day are all signs of disorganization. The right productivity tools help eliminate these problems by providing structure. They create a sense of order, allowing you to navigate your day with confidence, knowing that everything you need is accounted for. Instead of scrambling to remember what needs to be done, you have a system in place that keeps everything in check. This shift not only improves efficiency, but also reduces mental clutter, freeing up space in your mind for creativity, problem-solving, and deep work. One of the biggest barriers to productivity is not a lack of effort, but a lack of clarity. When your tasks are jumbled together without prioritization, it is difficult to determine what requires immediate attention and what can wait. This leads to procrastination, unnecessary stress, and wasted time on low-value activities. Productivity tools solve this by offering a way to categorize, schedule, and track progress. They provide visibility into what needs to be done, ensuring that nothing slips through the cracks. Whether it is a digital task manager, a calendar, or a note-taking app, these tools act as guides, helping you stay on top of responsibilities without the constant mental burden of trying to remember everything. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to organization. Different people have different needs, work styles, and preferences. Some thrive with detailed to-do lists, while others benefit from visual workflows or time-blocking methods. The key is to find what works for you and integrate it into your daily routine. Productivity tools should not feel like an added burden. They should simplify your life. When used correctly, they eliminate the need for constant mental juggling, allowing you to operate with a clear mind and a focused approach. The goal is not just to be productive, but to create an environment where progress happens effortlessly. A major advantage of using productivity tools is their ability to provide structure without rigidity. Life is unpredictable, and plans often change. Having a flexible system allows you to adapt without losing momentum. When tasks are documented and organized, unexpected changes do not throw you off course. You can adjust without feeling like everything is falling apart. This adaptability is crucial for maintaining consistency. Productivity is not about working at maximum capacity all the time. It is about maintaining steady progress without burning out. The right tools make this possible by providing a clear roadmap, ensuring that even on difficult days, you know what needs to be done and can adjust accordingly. Beyond just task management, productivity tools enhance focus. In a world filled with distractions, staying on track is a challenge. Notifications, emails, and constant digital interruptions pull attention in multiple directions, making it difficult to complete meaningful work. Having a structured system helps counteract this by providing a clear starting point and a defined plan of action. Instead of reacting to whatever demands your attention at the moment, you have a proactive approach, dictating what gets your focus and when. This intentionality is what separates productive individuals from those who feel like they are always busy but never actually making progress. Discipline plays a significant role in staying organized. The best productivity tools in the world will not help if they are not used consistently. Building the habit of relying on these systems takes time, but once established, it becomes second nature. Checking your task list, updating your calendar, and reviewing priorities become part of your routine, eliminating the need for constant decision-making about what to do next. This automation of organization reduces stress, allowing you to operate efficiently without feeling overwhelmed. The more you commit to a structured approach, the more freedom you create in your day. Organization does not restrict you, it gives you control, ensuring that your time is spent intentionally rather than wasted on unnecessary tasks. One of the most overlooked benefits of productivity tools is their ability to create balance. Many people associate productivity with work, but it extends far beyond professional responsibilities. Staying organized allows you to carve out time for personal growth, relationships, and self-care. When tasks are managed effectively, there is room for rest without guilt, knowing that everything is accounted for. Productivity is not about squeezing more work into every moment. It is about optimizing your time so that you can be present in all areas of life. A structured approach ensures that important aspects like health, hobbies, and relationships do not get neglected in the pursuit of goals. The process of staying organized is not about perfection, it is about progress. There will be days when things do not go as planned, when deadlines shift, or when unexpected obstacles arise. The difference between someone who thrives and someone who struggles is their ability to recalibrate without losing momentum. A well-structured system provides the foundation for this. It offers stability in the midst of chaos, ensuring that even when things do not go as expected, there is a framework in place to keep moving forward. It is not about eliminating difficulties, but about having the tools to navigate them effectively. Technology has made organization easier than ever, but it is up to the individual to take advantage of these tools. Simply downloading an app or creating a list is not enough. The key lies in consistent usage. Productivity tools work when they become an integral part of daily life, not just something used occasionally. The more you integrate them into your routine, the more natural they become. Over time, the effort required to stay organized decreases and efficiency increases. The result is a life where responsibilities are managed effortlessly, stress is minimized, and time is used intentionally. Staying organized is ultimately about creating a system that works for you. It is about designing a structure that aligns with your goals, lifestyle, and personal preferences. Productivity tools are not meant to add complexity, but to simplify. They exist to reduce stress, increase efficiency, and provide clarity. When used effectively, they allow you to focus on what truly matters, eliminating unnecessary distractions and ensuring that every action moves you closer to your objectives. The true power of organization is not just in getting more done, but in creating a life where everything has its place, allowing you to operate with a sense of control, confidence, and peace. Chapter 16. Overcome negative thoughts with positive self-talk. Negative thoughts can feel like an unrelenting storm, clouding your mind and convincing you that you are not good enough, not capable, or destined to fail. These thoughts creep in when you least expect them, taking hold of your confidence and making you question your abilities. They come in many forms: self-doubt, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, and endless worry about things beyond your control. The mind can be its own worst enemy, spinning narratives that have no real basis in reality, yet feel overwhelmingly true in the moment. But just as the mind can work against you, it can also become your greatest ally. The key is learning to take control of your inner dialogue, turning self-criticism into self-encouragement, and replacing negativity with positive self-talk. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you tell yourself you are not good enough, you start to believe it. If you constantly focus on what could go wrong, you hesitate to take action. Your mind listens to the words you repeat, reinforcing them until they become ingrained beliefs. This is why it is crucial to reframe the way you talk to yourself. Instead of feeding your fears, you must actively choose to nurture confidence and resilience. This does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It means shifting your perspective, reminding yourself that difficulties are not roadblocks but stepping stones, and that failure is not a final destination but a lesson in progress. Positive self-talk is not about blind optimism. It is about constructive and empowering inner dialogue. It is about recognizing your strengths, acknowledging your efforts, and reinforcing the belief that you are capable of growth. It is a practice that requires conscious effort because negative thoughts often come naturally, while positive reinforcement takes intention. The way you speak to yourself matters. Would you tell a friend who is struggling that they are doomed to fail? Would you tell someone you care about that they are worthless or incapable? Of course not. Yet so many people allow their inner voice to be their harshest critic, tearing themselves down rather than lifting themselves up. Overcoming negative thoughts starts with awareness. You must become mindful of the patterns in your thinking, catching those moments when you begin to spiral into self-doubt. When you notice yourself thinking, "I am not good enough," challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought based on fact, or is it just fear talking? More often than not, these negative beliefs have no real foundation. They are echoes of past insecurities, not reflections of your true abilities. By questioning these thoughts, you take away their power. You shift from passive acceptance to active control, reclaiming the narrative of your mind. One of the most powerful ways to rewire your thinking is through repetition. Just as negative thoughts can become deeply ingrained through constant reinforcement, positive affirmations can replace them when practiced consistently. Start by identifying the negative phrases you often tell yourself and countering them with positive alternatives. If your mind says, "I always mess up," replace it with, "I learn from my mistakes and improve each time." If you find yourself thinking, "I will never succeed," shift to, "Every step I take brings me closer to my goals." This simple act of replacing negativity with encouragement creates a mental shift over time. What once felt like forced positivity gradually becomes a natural way of thinking. The language you use with yourself matters. Instead of saying, "I can't," reframe it as, "I haven't mastered this yet, but I am working on it." Instead of focusing on limitations, focus on possibilities. The mind responds to the words you feed it. When you speak with encouragement, you build confidence. When you focus on progress rather than perfection, you develop resilience. It is not about pretending everything is easy. It is about acknowledging that challenges exist while reinforcing the belief that you have the ability to overcome them. Self-talk also influences your emotional state. Negative inner dialogue fuels anxiety, frustration, and self-doubt, while positive reinforcement fosters motivation, clarity, and determination. When you speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, you create an inner environment that supports growth rather than hinders it. You start to believe in your own capabilities, which fuels action. Confidence is not something that just appears. It is built through consistent self-affirmation and proof of progress. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more natural it becomes, and over time, it transforms the way you approach challenges. Another crucial aspect of overcoming negative thoughts is learning to separate yourself from them. Thoughts are not absolute truths. They are merely passing ideas shaped by emotions, experiences, and fears. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean you have to accept it as reality. When a negative thought arises, recognize it for what it is, a temporary expression of doubt, not a defining statement about your worth or ability. Instead of letting it dictate your actions, observe it, question it, and then choose to replace it with something more constructive. Visualization is another powerful tool for reinforcing positive self-talk. Imagine yourself succeeding, overcoming obstacles, and handling challenges with confidence. Your brain responds to mental imagery in the same way it does to real experiences, which is why visualizing success can have a profound impact on your mindset. When you consistently picture yourself achieving your goals, handling setbacks with resilience, and pushing through difficulties, you condition your mind to expect positive outcomes. This expectation fuels action, helping you approach situations with a sense of possibility rather than fear. Surrounding yourself with positivity also plays a significant role in reshaping your self-talk. The people you interact with, the content you consume, and the environment you create all influence your mindset. If you are constantly exposed to negativity, criticism, and doubt, it is harder to maintain a positive internal dialogue. Seek out influences that reinforce confidence and self-belief. Spend time with people who encourage you, listen to uplifting podcasts, read inspiring books, and engage in activities that reinforce a growth mindset. The more positivity you surround yourself with, the easier it becomes to internalize it. It is important to recognize that shifting your mindset does not mean eliminating all negative thoughts forever. Doubts and fears will still arise, especially in moments of uncertainty. The goal is not to silence these thoughts completely, but to prevent them from controlling you. When negativity appears, acknowledge it, but do not dwell on it. Redirect your focus to solutions, lessons, and possibilities. Each time you do this, you weaken the hold of self-doubt and strengthen the habit of constructive thinking. Consistency is key in this process. You cannot expect to change years of negative self-talk overnight. It requires daily effort, patience, and commitment. Some days will be harder than others, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Over time, positive self-talk transforms from a conscious effort into an automatic response. Instead of defaulting to doubt, you default to confidence. Instead of fearing failure, you see it as a stepping stone. Instead of believing in limitations, you focus on possibilities. Your mind is your most powerful tool. It can either work for you or against you, depending on how you train it. The words you choose to speak to yourself shape your reality. Make them empowering, make them encouraging, make them a source of strength rather than self-sabotage. When you master the art of positive self-talk, you unlock a new level of resilience, confidence, and inner peace. You become the architect of your own mindset, creating a mental space that supports growth, success, and fulfillment. The journey begins with a single choice: to speak to yourself with the same kindness, belief, and encouragement that you would offer to someone you love. Chapter 17. Dedicate time to hobbies for personal fulfillment. Hobbies are more than just pastimes. They are a form of self-expression, an outlet for creativity, and a sanctuary from the pressures of daily life. They provide a space where time slows down, where obligations take a back seat, and where joy is found in the simple act of doing something for yourself. In a world where productivity is often seen as the ultimate goal, hobbies serve as a reminder that fulfillment is not just about achievements or external validation. It is about engaging in activities that bring personal satisfaction and inner peace. People often dismiss hobbies as unimportant or secondary to their responsibilities. They tell themselves they do not have time for painting, playing an instrument, gardening, or writing because work, family, and obligations take precedence. But the truth is, dedicating time to hobbies is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is a way to reconnect with yourself, to step away from the demands of the outside world, and to engage in something that nourishes your mind and spirit. A life that revolves solely around work and obligations can feel hollow. Hobbies infuse life with meaning beyond the daily grind. Personal fulfillment does not come from relentless work alone. It comes from balance. It comes from allowing yourself the space to pursue something simply because you love it. When you engage in hobbies, you are not chasing deadlines or external rewards. You are immersing yourself in the process, finding joy in the act of creation, problem solving, or exploration. Whether it is learning a new skill, revisiting an old passion, or simply engaging in an activity that relaxes you, hobbies provide a necessary counterbalance to the pressures of daily life. Creativity and personal fulfillment are deeply connected. When you engage in a hobby, you tap into a part of yourself that thrives on curiosity and discovery. Whether it is playing music, sculpting, or building something with your hands, hobbies allow you to express yourself in ways that words often cannot. They give you the freedom to explore without the fear of failure, to experiment without judgment, and to enjoy the process rather than focusing solely on the result. In doing so, they become a powerful source of self-discovery and growth. One of the most common reasons people neglect hobbies is the belief that they are not good enough at them. They hesitate to draw, dance, or write because they compare themselves to professionals or expect perfection from the start. But hobbies are not about mastery, they are about enjoyment. They are about the act of doing, not the final product. You do not need to be an expert painter to enjoy putting brush to canvas. You do not need to be a professional musician to find joy in strumming a guitar. The value of hobbies lies in the experience, not in how well you perform. The act of engaging in a hobby is itself a form of mindfulness. When you are fully absorbed in an activity you love, your mind becomes present. You are not thinking about past mistakes or future worries. You are immersed in the now. This kind of deep engagement provides relief from stress and anxiety, allowing you to step outside the cycle of overthinking and focus on the simple pleasure of doing something that makes you happy. In many ways, hobbies act as a form of meditation, bringing clarity and relaxation into your life. Another important aspect of dedicating time to hobbies is the sense of progress and accomplishment they provide. Unlike work, Where progress is often measured in external achievements, hobbies allow you to set your own pace. You can learn a new chord, complete a small woodworking project, or see your garden flourish over time. These small milestones add up, reinforcing a sense of achievement that is rooted in personal satisfaction rather than external approval. They remind you that growth does not always have to be about career advancement. It can be about learning, improving, and enjoying the journey. Hobbies also have the power to connect you with others. Shared interests create communities, bringing together people who might otherwise never have crossed paths. Whether it is joining a photography club, attending a dance class, or discussing books with fellow readers, hobbies open the door to meaningful connections. These interactions are not driven by professional networking or obligation. They are built on genuine shared passion. This sense of belonging enhances personal fulfillment, proving that joy is not just found in solitude, but also in shared experiences. For those who feel they do not have time for hobbies, it is important to reassess priorities. Time is always being spent on something, whether it is scrolling through social media, watching television, or worrying about things outside of your control. The question is not whether you have time, but whether you are using it in ways that truly enrich your life. Even dedicating just 20 minutes a day to an activity you love can make a significant difference in your well-being. It is not about how much time you have, but how you choose to use it. Hobbies also contribute to overall mental and emotional health. Engaging in activities that bring joy reduces stress, enhances cognitive function, and provides a sense of purpose outside of daily obligations. They serve as a reminder that life is not just about responsibilities and goals, it is also about experiences, creativity, and self-expression. When you invest time in a hobby, you invest in yourself. You give yourself permission to explore, to enjoy, and to grow without pressure or expectation. The process of discovering a hobby that truly resonates with you can be just as fulfilling as the hobby itself. Sometimes it takes trying different activities before you find something that genuinely excites you. The key is to remain open to exploration, to give yourself permission to try new things without the fear of failure. Each attempt, whether successful or not, brings you closer to understanding what brings you joy. The act of searching itself is a form of personal growth, reminding you that fulfillment is found not in the destination, but in the journey. Incorporating hobbies into your life requires intention. It means setting aside time, even when life feels busy. It means prioritizing your own happiness, understanding that personal fulfillment is not a selfish pursuit, but a necessary one. When you dedicate time to hobbies, you enrich your life in ways that extend beyond the activity itself. You cultivate a sense of balance, reconnect with your creativity, and remind yourself that life is about more than obligations. It is also about passion, exploration, and joy. Ultimately, hobbies are a celebration of the things that make you uniquely you. They are an expression of your interests, your curiosities, and your creativity. They allow you to step away from external expectations and simply enjoy the process of doing something for yourself. In a world that often prioritizes productivity over passion, hobbies stand as a testament to the importance of personal fulfillment. They remind you that time spent doing what you love is never wasted. It is invested in your well-being, your happiness, and your personal growth. Chapter 18. Ensure adequate sleep for mental clarity. Sleep is often taken for granted, pushed aside in favor of work, entertainment, or endless scrolling on a phone. People convince themselves that they can function on just a few hours, that caffeine or sheer willpower can replace rest. But the truth is, sleep is not a luxury, it is a fundamental necessity. Without it, the mind becomes foggy, decision-making suffers, and even the smallest tasks feel overwhelming. It is during sleep that the brain resets, processes information, and prepares for the challenges of the next day. Without adequate rest, clarity disappears, productivity declines, and emotions become harder to manage. Mental sharpness does not come from constantly being busy. It comes from allowing the mind to recharge. People push themselves beyond their limits, believing that sacrificing sleep will make them more productive. In reality, the opposite happens. When the body and mind are deprived of rest, efficiency drops. Tasks take longer to complete. Creativity fades. Memory becomes unreliable. The ability to focus diminishes, leading to frustration and stress. It is not just about feeling tired. It is about being unable to function at full capacity. The quality of sleep matters just as much as the quantity. Lying in bed for hours does not guarantee true rest. The mind needs deep, uninterrupted sleep to repair itself. This is the time when the brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, and clears out mental clutter. Without this essential process, thoughts become scattered, reaction times slow down, and even simple decisions feel overwhelming. The brain needs this reset to function at its best. A well-rested mind is sharper, more resilient, and better equipped to handle challenges. The difference between a good night's sleep and a restless one is noticeable in everything, from how easily problems are solved to how emotions are managed. Sleep deprivation makes even small frustrations seem unbearable, while adequate rest provides the patience and clarity to navigate difficulties with a level head. The mind is like a high-performance machine. It cannot run efficiently if it is not properly maintained. People often try to push through fatigue by relying on stimulants or distractions, but nothing can replace real rest. Energy drinks, excessive caffeine, or short naps may offer temporary relief, but they do not provide the deep restoration the body and mind need. The body has a natural rhythm, and when that rhythm is disrupted, everything else suffers. Rest is not something that can be postponed indefinitely. Eventually, the body demands what it has been deprived of, and ignoring those signals leads to exhaustion, burnout, and even health issues. Modern life makes it easy to neglect sleep. Screens glow late into the night, notifications demand attention, and work spills into what should be resting hours. But choosing sleep is choosing well-being. It is choosing to give the mind the clarity it needs to function at its best. Rest is not a sign of laziness. It is a sign of wisdom. It is an investment in productivity, health, and emotional stability. People who prioritize rest find that they can accomplish more in less time, not because they are working harder, but because their minds are operating at peak performance. Beyond productivity, sleep plays a vital role in emotional resilience. A tired mind is more prone to negativity, frustration, and impulsive reactions. When the brain is well rested, it is easier to maintain perspective, handle stress, and approach situations with patience. People often underestimate how much sleep affects their mood. Irritability, anxiety, and even feelings of sadness can be amplified by exhaustion. A good night's rest does not just clear the mind, it stabilizes emotions, making it easier to navigate daily life with a sense of control. The body and mind are deeply connected. When sleep is neglected, it is not just the brain that suffers, the entire body feels the impact. Fatigue affects coordination, weakens the immune system, and makes even simple physical tasks feel more difficult. Sleep is when the body repairs itself, rebuilding muscles, regulating hormones, and restoring balance. Without it, physical health deteriorates over time. Prioritizing sleep is not just about feeling well rested, it is about maintaining overall health and longevity. There is a misconception that sleep is something to be earned, as if it is a reward for productivity. In reality, it is the foundation that allows productivity to happen. A well-rested person can think more clearly, react more quickly, and perform tasks with greater efficiency. Skipping sleep to get more done is like driving a car on an empty tank. It might move forward for a while, but eventually it will break down. The mind and body function in the same way. They need rest to operate at their full potential. Many people struggle with sleep because they do not prioritize it. They allow distractions, stress, or habits to interfere with their ability to rest. But improving sleep is within reach. Simple changes, like creating a bedtime routine, reducing screen time before bed, or making the sleeping environment more comfortable, can make a significant difference. Sleep should not be treated as an afterthought. It should be treated as a non-negotiable part of life, just like eating or breathing. Some people view sleep as time wasted, as if those hours could be better spent working, learning, or engaging in other activities. But sleep is not wasted time, it is essential time. It is when the mind organizes thoughts, processes emotions, and restores itself for the day ahead. A person who gets enough rest will always be more effective than someone who is constantly running on empty. The hours spent sleeping are not lost. They are invested in becoming a sharper, stronger, and more focused individual. There is something powerful about waking up refreshed, with a clear mind and a sense of readiness for the day. A rested mind approaches challenges with confidence, makes decisions with clarity, and embraces opportunities with enthusiasm. Sleep fuels every aspect of life, from work performance to personal relationships. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without it, even the strongest minds begin to crumble under the weight of exhaustion. Understanding the value of sleep is the first step toward making it a priority. It is not about squeezing in extra hours. It is about making rest a consistent part of life. When sleep becomes a priority, everything else improves. Focus sharpens, creativity increases, and energy levels remain steady throughout the day. Productivity is no longer about pushing through exhaustion. It is about working with a mind that is fully recharged and ready to take on challenges. Sleep is not a weakness. It is a necessity. It is the key to thinking clearly, making better decisions, and maintaining emotional balance. It is what allows people to perform at their best, both mentally and physically. When sleep is neglected, everything else suffers. But when it is prioritized, it becomes the foundation for a life filled with clarity, resilience, and success. Chapter 19. Stay hydrated to maintain physical well-being. Water is the foundation of life, yet it is often overlooked in daily routines. People focus on food, exercise, and sleep, but hydration plays an equally critical role in maintaining physical well-being. The body depends on water to function properly, and even mild dehydration can affect energy levels, concentration, and overall health. It is easy to ignore thirst signals, to push through fatigue, without realizing that the body is simply lacking hydration. But the reality is, when the body does not get enough water, everything becomes harder. The mind feels sluggish, the body moves slower, and basic tasks require more effort than they should. Hydration is not just about quenching thirst, it is about fueling the body at a cellular level. Every process within the body, from digestion to circulation to temperature regulation, relies on water. Without enough fluids, the body struggles to perform its basic functions. Muscles cramp, joints become stiff, and headaches creep in. Dehydration does not always announce itself with obvious symptoms. Sometimes it manifests as irritability, difficulty concentrating, or an unexplainable sense of fatigue. People often mistake these signs for stress or exhaustion when, in reality, they are simply running on empty in terms of hydration. The brain is particularly sensitive to dehydration. Even a small drop in fluid levels can cause cognitive decline, making it harder to focus, retain information, and think clearly. It is no coincidence that people feel more awake and alert after drinking a glass of water. The brain needs hydration just as much as the body does. When properly hydrated, thoughts flow more smoothly, decision-making improves, and mental fog lifts. It is one of the simplest ways to enhance productivity and maintain a sharp mind throughout the day. Staying hydrated is not just about drinking when thirsty, it is about making hydration a consistent habit. Thirst is a late-stage signal. By the time the body sends that message, dehydration has already begun. Waiting for thirst is like waiting for an engine to overheat before adding oil. The key is to drink water regularly, to maintain hydration rather than play catch-up. Many people do not realize how much water they need, especially if they are active, living in warm climates, or consuming beverages that deplete hydration levels, such as caffeine and alcohol. Hydration affects more than just energy and mental clarity, it impacts physical performance as well. Muscles rely on water to function smoothly. Without enough hydration, they fatigue faster, leading to reduced endurance and increased risk of cramps or injuries. Whether someone is an athlete or simply trying to get through the day with energy, hydration makes all the difference. The body needs water to regulate temperature, flush out toxins, and keep the cardiovascular system running efficiently. Skimping on water intake places unnecessary stress on the body, making it work harder to complete even the simplest tasks. Digestion is another area where hydration plays a crucial role. The body requires adequate fluids to break down food, absorb nutrients, and eliminate waste. Dehydration can lead to digestive discomfort, sluggish metabolism, and bloating. Many people struggle with digestive issues without realizing that simply drinking more water could significantly improve their condition. Water acts as a natural detoxifier, helping the body eliminate waste products and keep the system running smoothly. It is an essential part of maintaining not just hydration but overall health. Skin health is another reflection of hydration levels. Dryness, dullness, and premature aging can all be exacerbated by inadequate water intake. The skin is the body's largest organ, and like all other organs, it relies on hydration to function properly. When the body is well hydrated, the skin appears more vibrant, elastic, and resilient. People often invest in expensive skincare products while neglecting the simplest and most effective beauty secret: drinking enough water. Hydration works from the inside out, providing a natural glow that no cream or serum can replicate. One of the biggest barriers to proper hydration is simply forgetting to drink water. People get caught up in work, distracted by tasks, and go hours without drinking. By the time they realize they are thirsty, they are already feeling the effects of dehydration. The solution is to build hydration into daily routines, making it as automatic as eating meals or brushing teeth. Keeping a water bottle within reach, setting reminders, or making a habit of drinking water before meals can help establish consistency. When hydration becomes a regular practice rather than an afterthought, the body reaps the benefits. Hydration is about balance. Drinking too little causes fatigue and sluggishness, but drinking too much too quickly can also be counterproductive. The body needs steady, consistent hydration throughout the day. Flooding the system with water all at once does not have the same benefits as spacing intake evenly. The goal is to provide the body with a steady supply of fluids so that it can function optimally without stress or strain. Beverage choices also matter. While water is the best source of hydration, many drinks on the market are filled with sugar, artificial ingredients, or diuretics that can actually deplete hydration levels. Sports drinks, sodas, and energy drinks may seem refreshing, but they often do more harm than good. They can spike energy levels temporarily, only to cause crashes later. Sticking to water, herbal teas, and natural hydrating foods like fruits and vegetables is a smarter approach. The body is remarkably resilient, but it functions best when given what it needs. Water is not an optional part of health. It is a necessity. It is easy to underestimate its importance because it is so readily available, but that does not make it any less vital. Every cell, organ, and system in the body relies on hydration. From mental clarity to physical performance to emotional balance, water plays an essential role in overall well-being. Making hydration a priority is one of the simplest and most effective ways to improve health and daily functioning. It does not require major lifestyle changes, just a conscious effort to drink more water throughout the day. The results are immediate and noticeable. Increased energy, better concentration, smoother digestion, and improved mood are just a few of the benefits that come from staying properly hydrated. It is a small habit with a big impact, one that can transform the way the body and mind operate. Water is the foundation of vitality. It keeps everything running smoothly, from brain function to muscle movement to skin health. Ignoring hydration is like ignoring the fuel gauge on a car. It may keep running for a while, but eventually it will break down. The body sends signals when it needs water, but the key is to stay ahead of those signals, to provide hydration before thirst kicks in. When water intake becomes a regular habit, everything improves, focus sharpens, energy remains steady, and overall health thrives. In a world filled with complicated health advice and wellness trends, hydration remains one of the simplest and most powerful steps toward well-being. It is not about extreme changes or expensive solutions. It is about recognizing that water is essential and making it a consistent part of daily life. The benefits are undeniable. A well-hydrated body is a stronger, healthier, and more vibrant body. It is an investment in long-term health, one sip at a time. Chapter 20. Seek feedback to identify areas for improvement. Growth is a continuous process, and one of the most effective ways to improve is by seeking feedback. It is easy to become comfortable in routines, assuming that effort alone is enough to make progress. But without an external perspective, blind spots remain unseen, weaknesses go unaddressed, and opportunities for refinement are missed. Feedback provides an honest reflection, offering clarity on where improvements can be made. It is a tool that accelerates learning, sharpens skills, and ultimately leads to greater success. Those who actively seek input from others position themselves ahead of those who rely solely on self-evaluation. Yet, feedback is not always easy to receive. It can be uncomfortable to hear that something needs work, especially when effort has already been put in. The natural reaction is often defensiveness or resistance, an instinctive desire to protect pride and avoid criticism. But real growth begins when feedback is welcomed rather than feared. It is not an attack, it is an opportunity. The ability to separate ego from improvement is what allows people to refine their abilities and reach new levels of excellence. One of the greatest benefits of feedback is its ability to reveal blind spots. No matter how self-aware a person is, there are always aspects of performance, behavior, or skills that go unnoticed from an internal perspective. Others can see things that remain hidden from personal view. A speaker may not realize they have a habit of using filler words. A writer may not recognize gaps in their arguments. An athlete may not notice a slight inefficiency in their technique. Feedback from experienced individuals provides insight that would otherwise go unnoticed, making it possible to fine-tune and refine areas that need improvement. Feedback also accelerates learning. Trial and error alone can be a slow process. Without guidance, mistakes can be repeated without awareness, delaying progress. Feedback serves as a shortcut, providing direct insights into what needs to be adjusted. Instead of spending months trying to figure out why something is not working, constructive input can highlight the issue in minutes. This is why mentorship, coaching, and collaborative environments are so valuable. The shared wisdom of others allows individuals to bypass unnecessary struggles and move forward with greater efficiency. However, not all feedback is created equal. Some input is valuable and constructive, offering clear direction on how to improve. Other feedback may be vague, unhelpful, or even misguided. Learning to differentiate between useful feedback and noise is an essential skill. Constructive feedback is specific, actionable, and based on observation. It provides concrete suggestions rather than general criticism. Unhelpful feedback, on the other hand, is often opinion-based, overly negative, or lacking in substance. The key is to filter through feedback, applying what is useful while discarding what is not. The source of feedback matters as well. Input from someone experienced in a particular field carries more weight than opinions from those without relevant knowledge. Seeking feedback from mentors, coaches, colleagues, or respected professionals ensures that the insights are credible and beneficial. Random opinions from unqualified sources may not contribute to improvement and can even be misleading. Choosing the right people to provide feedback enhances the quality of guidance received. Another important aspect of feedback is knowing how to ask for it effectively. Vague questions like "What do you think?" often lead to vague responses. Being specific in seeking feedback yields more valuable insights. Instead of asking general questions, directing attention to particular areas ensures that the input received is relevant. For instance, rather than asking if a presentation was good, asking for feedback on clarity, engagement, or pacing invites more actionable advice. The more precise the request, the more useful the response. Receiving feedback with an open mind is just as important as seeking it. Defensiveness shuts down opportunities for growth. When feedback is given, the best approach is to listen fully before reacting. Instead of immediately justifying or explaining, absorbing the input without resistance allows for genuine reflection. Even if feedback feels harsh or unexpected, there is always value in considering it objectively. Sometimes, the most uncomfortable feedback is the most necessary. Beyond receiving feedback, applying it is where real transformation happens. Hearing constructive input is only the first step. Taking action on it is what leads to progress. The most successful individuals are those who not only seek feedback, but also implement changes based on it. Improvement does not come from merely acknowledging weaknesses, but from actively working on them. Applying feedback consistently over time leads to noticeable enhancements in skills, performance, and overall growth. There is also value in making feedback a continuous part of the process rather than an occasional event. Waiting for formal reviews or rare evaluations limits opportunities for improvement. Regularly checking in with trusted individuals, asking for small adjustments along the way, and consistently refining based on input create an environment of ongoing development. The more frequently feedback is sought and applied, the faster progress is made. The mindset toward feedback also plays a crucial role. Those who view it as criticism often struggle to grow, while those who see it as guidance thrive. Shifting the perspective from seeing feedback as a judgment to seeing it as a tool for self-improvement changes the entire experience. Instead of dreading feedback, embracing it as a pathway to becoming better makes the process more constructive and fulfilling. Giving feedback is just as important as receiving it. Constructive feedback benefits not only the individual receiving it, but also the person providing it. Teaching others, offering insights, and guiding improvement solidifies knowledge and deepens understanding. Those who give thoughtful feedback develop a stronger ability to analyze performance, identify strengths and weaknesses, and communicate ideas effectively. The act of helping others grow contributes to personal growth as well. Creating a culture of feedback, whether in personal development, workplace environments, or creative pursuits, enhances collective success. When people feel comfortable exchanging insights without fear of judgment, everyone benefits. Encouraging open discussions, valuing input from others, and fostering an environment where feedback is welcomed leads to higher performance, greater innovation, and continuous improvement. Feedback is not just about fixing weaknesses, it is also about reinforcing strengths. Recognizing what is being done well is just as valuable as identifying areas for improvement. Positive feedback builds confidence, highlights effective strategies, and encourages continued effort. When balanced with constructive input, it creates a healthy approach to growth that combines motivation with refinement. At its core, seeking feedback is about striving for excellence. It is about refusing to settle for mediocrity and instead pushing for continuous improvement. Those who actively seek input, listen with an open mind, and take action on what they learn set themselves apart. They move forward with purpose, refining their abilities and achieving greater success. Feedback is not a limitation, it is a catalyst for becoming better in every aspect of life.